Deep in the heart of Texas, it is now the 11th hour. Do you know where your reality is? Hey guys, what is up? I am your host with the most scared performance, alongside our special guest tonight, Stargods, and we'll be getting to him in just a short second. Let me go ahead and check out this participants list, see who we got tonight. We have Alfie, Poison Bunny, Shadow, Brian Cannot Tell, Catherine Snows, Dark Slayer 1, DD74, Eddie Von Keen. Just the truth. Well, that's what you're going to get over here, is just the truth. Melanie Brown, Rosa A. Let's see. A few people have jumped in. Let me go to the chat. Let me see who we have. Melanie Brown. Okay, let's see. Mandela 108, Dean Johnson, Guardian Matrix as well. Hey guys, yeah, this is a special edition of the After Hours Club in Speakeasy, and we have our special guest tonight, Mr. Stargods, Mr. Rich, as we like to call him. Rich, how are you doing tonight, sir? Hope you're doing well.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Trying to survive the COVID police state.
Now, Rich, I gotta tell you, man, I was a little shocked when I first brought you into the green room, and you just wanted to wear that mask. I mean, you realize we're online, dude. You don't have to wear a mask for the broadcast. I'm shocked, Rich. No, I'm just kidding. Look, man, I know you and I feel the same way. I've listened to your videos talking about what you feel. I mean, don't hold back. I mean, really, tell us everything. But no, honestly, it's yeah, dude. I'm like you. The interactions you've had with people are quite telling, really. You've had a little bit more, I think, negative interactions with folks than I have here in Texas. But I am like you. I don't wear the damn thing in public. I don't care. I'll walk around the store with 200 people wearing masks, and I'm just like, I ain't wearing one. And I've only had a few people say something to me, but they just mentioned it, like, as I'm walking in, like, sir, you gonna wear your mask? And I'm like, nope, I can't. I've got a medical condition, and they leave me alone. But you've had some run-ins, I've heard, and on your videos. So yeah, man, what are your thoughts? What's going on with that? And where do you think this is all leading? And why do you think this is happening?
Well, it's kind of like a hypnosis. Everybody's like, they believe what they believe, but they don't know why, because Fauci told them so. So I guess they pray to the Heavenly Father Fauci every day and find out what they're supposed to do, and then and then Fauci's son, Bill Gates, they tell us what to do because they have the power of mortal life, you see. So if we believe in them, they'll save us with the golden needles in our arm. It's the whole thing's stupid. But
yeah,
some people take it. No, I got to relate this story. Like, I'm in the grocery store in the lineup, right? And I'm just kidding about. I said, "Oh no, my toes are over the line." And I look behind me, and there's a woman and her daughter. Her daughter's about 30 years old, and they look terrified. They're just like picking their fingers, and they're terrified looking. They looked like they were going to cry. And then I continued in the lineup, and I looked behind, and they left a full cart of all their groceries and everything. They just took off. They were so scared. I mean, that's just mind control.
No, it's sad, really. And it's funny, at first, I was telling my audience, I said, when this first happened, I was explaining, like, as I was feeling this out, right? Because at first it was like, okay, well, maybe there is a virus, maybe it's not as deadly, whatever. I wasn't necessarily on board with, like, okay, it's completely fake, because I don't know. I wasn't sure. All I know is that being hyped up, it's definitely being hyped.
Well, what's fake is the way the controlled media just pounced on it and said, "Oh, if you get it, you go to the funeral home and make arrangements because you're a dead man." And
Yeah,
they had
yeah.
everybody just terrified. You get
It
it,
was
you
like Ebola.
die.
It was Ebola, right? It was like, if you get this, you're gonna die. Boy, you
Yeah,
were
they
dead.
got a new virus every year so we can get all excited and terrified
Well,
about it.
well, they've been getting us prepared for this for years, right? I mean, every year it's bird flu, then H1N1, which is, I think that's the same thing. But then, then we had the Ebola outbreak, the one in Dallas. I remember years ago when YouTube was a lot freer than it used to be. Truthers tore that one up, man. Just talking
Yeah.
about how silly it all looked, and how, like, I remember I even talk about the ABC News broadcast where, or maybe it was NBC, where they showed somebody in Africa dying of Ebola, and then they showed their hand moving a little bit. And I remember I was on social media at the time, and I'll never forget it, getting into an argument with this person because they were like, "Oh my God, if we don't do something about Ebola, we could have a zombie apocalypse." And I'm like, uh, first off, you need to calm down, okay? And you need to realize that there are no zombies. Okay, like that's just some movie stuff. Like, you're just trying to spread fear, and you need to quit it. And then I only had a medical doctor chime in and be like, "Well, you don't need to talk to her that way." And I'm like, Well, okay. I'm sorry. Now we're pulling the woman card thing. Like, it's not about that. It's not, it's about just false information. I don't give a shit if it was a man or a woman. Just because I speak to her in a certain way doesn't mean I guess I was being a misogynist or something. So then I got that kind of junk going on in social media. You got to watch out for that because they'll pull that card on you. But yeah, there were times, where I fought back, and I started thinking, man, this world is getting crazy. I mean, there's people that won't, stand up and say, "Golly, that's insane to say something like that. Why would you do that? You're crazy." That's crazy. But apparently they're more worried about how I word my sentences. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that takes precedence over uh total false information. Because this person should be allowed to say whatever she says because they like her, I guess. They've never met her,
Yeah.
but somehow she's got, she takes precedence over facts and logic.
Well,
So that's
I'm now
kind of where we're in.
referring it I'm now referring it to as COVID Y2K.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's so funny now. All I am seeing news report after news report talking about how the virus, and stuff like that is like, in, what was it? This was New York Times. They're reporting your coronavirus test is positive. Maybe it shouldn't be. So basically, what they're saying is that they've botched the test. They're reporting now that all these tests that we went way overboard. No shit. Why is it all just the handful of conspiracy theorists out there that were like, this is nuts. There's no bodies. There's nobody that's gotten sick. Rich, I don't know a person. I don't know one person who's gotten it. I don't know one person who's died from it. I don't know. I'm just saying, it's like, okay, this is the most unseen virus. And I joke and I tell people all the time, like, well, next year they're going to have another virus. It's going to be called the,
Well, maybe they just call all
yeah.
local flu coming through COVID
Mm.
because
Well,
they got to get
apparently,
the numbers up.
yeah, yeah. There's something that the way they test for this thing is a way to amp it, and apparently it's been over amped so that the marker that they're looking for appears to be more prevalent than it should be. And
Yeah.
yeah, they're realizing this, like, oh, the way we were testing for it might not be correct. So all these people that supposedly had COVID, your tests probably are false. In fact,
And
now they're
plus,
saying, yeah.
you notice how the virus is getting all these new superpowers. I mean, regular
Oh,
doctors are just going, what? What did you, where now it can live on, now you touch something and it'll live for hours and hours. No, virus outside of the body dies immediately from
yeah,
oxygen and the sunlight. But now this new one, now it's a super virus.
of
It can
course.
do it can leap over tall buildings. Yeah.
in a single pound, in a single cough. It can
Yeah.
lead a tall billet. Yeah. Okay. So that, yeah, I've heard that. And also, too, it's like, how many ways do you get this virus? Now, I heard that it was reported that, you can fart and and spread the virus. And I thought, well, then why aren't we wearing adult diapers in school? I was taking a training class, last month, and I really thought about this. And if I was tighter with my teachers, I probably would have suggested this. But my thought was, and this is what a troll I am, if I was a teacher and I was, teaching a class, I would just put my students to the test and see how, I don't know, something I would do. I would have at break, I would have went around and put a Depend diaper on their desks. And when they got back, I would be like, well, one at a time, you need to go put on Depends because we need to, it's for your safety. It's for everyone's safety in case you just had lunch. And so I don't know, you might squeeze one out and we need to filter that, and I'm like, man, see, it's a good thing I don't have any sort of position like that, or I'd probably just be in trouble. I really would, But no, seriously, I was like, why aren't we wearing Depends diapers or something, filtering our butts? We're not doing that. Well, we got the stupid little mask, and the mask, don't get me started on that. Look, Rich, the thing is, the bottom line is, and I saw this coming. I was like, you know what this thing is doing to all of us? First off, it's just taking away our humanity, number one. And I feel like people are dying inside. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they're doing this as a way of social engineering and keeping us from really interacting the way we should. I mean, we're not getting to see the emotional side from people. I don't know how many times, and this is just something I ran into, when I had to wear it at school. I didn't wear a mask. I didn't wear that damn blue thing. I wore the like a very thin like t-shirt over my face that I made myself. Like I cut up an old black t-shirt and I could breathe through it. It wasn't a big deal. I just did it because, I was just trying to get through the class, basically. So that was the mandate at the school, is that we had to do this. So I did it. Okay. For the class. Outside the class, I didn't wear it. But when I was in there, I was just thinking like, I would say something to somebody and I'd be smiling and you couldn't see that I was kidding. People took me sometimes, I'm a very sarcastic person sometimes, as you are too. I can imagine if you were masked up, dude, you would piss so many people off. Like it's probably good, like, cause they would just look, they would hear what you're saying. Oh my God, I can't believe you said, and they wouldn't see your smile. They wouldn't see your emotion to what you were saying. And I think that's hurt us. I think that's been a
the
big
mask is to
part of it.
shame us too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, when I was in school, okay, we had a thing called duck and cover. And right in the middle of teacher speaking, she'd go, duck and cover. And we had to get underneath the table to protect us from an atomic explosion. And then we were told that if we have flour, we can take white flour and put it all over ourselves to reflect the radiation. And
Really?
nobody questioned it. Everybody, that's the gospel truth because that's what the government says. Like
Flour absorbs that radiation. Just they turn you into like a little pieces of dough. How nice. Okay.
Yeah, fried donut.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
So
and they all believe that. Nobody questioned it. We were all taught that in school, When I grow up, I want to be a fried donut.
Right. Well, that's what you're gonna be, right? After the nuclear explosion, and you're already coated nice. You're gonna be nice and crispy.
Maybe and you could use aluminum too, eh? You could just whip open some packaged gum and put it on your forehead to reflect the radiation.
Oh, I can't even imagine what they told you guys, man. That stuff, man. Talk about conditioning our kids and with fear from the very beginning.
Awful.
Oh, awful. Yeah, it is terrible. I remember us doing those drills too, but they didn't make us get into our desks. They took us out to the hallways and we all lined up and, put our heads against the wall or something like good little slaves, just, waiting to die. Let's not run. Let's not try to get away from the blast. Now let's just sit inside of a building. Have you seen the video footage of what quote unquote a nuclear bomb does to a building?
Yeah.
Like, like, okay, well, that's really gonna save us. Thanks. Like, yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, there's been so much conditioning going on, dude, and
But
it's
people believe anything you tell them.
I
You know,
know,
yeah,
I know.
they could say, well, Godzilla is really ticked and he's heading for New York. We got to get our fighters out.
Yeah.
Oh, really, really? And then everybody's talking about Godzilla. He's ticked with us. Oh. And then the churches will start going on about, oh, this is Armageddon coming. Like they can spin doctor everything.
Yeah. Well, they can. It's unbelievable, man. Like, okay, so now here comes this, like, I think what I'm seeing here, and tell me if I'm maybe thinking incorrect, but I see like this crazy backlash. Like I see just all this chaos coming, like just absolute chaos because, well, we're gonna have this election thing coming up here pretty soon. That's just gonna be a shit show. That's going to be a shit show. And then you got, now there's all these reports, like people are going to be pissed when they find out, like it's already being reported quite a bit all over social media and other places, mainly the right wing stuff, but they're already reporting that that we didn't have to do any of this, that this economic shutdown was for no reason at all. Like all of it was bullshit. They're sort of getting it out there. That's sort of the, that's the gear moving now. And I'm thinking, what are people going to do when they realize, like they just effed off their livelihoods for this stupid lie?
Yeah.
Like they're going to be pissed. Yeah. So are they going to, is this going to be a way to, I don't know. Is this going to,
well, they just pay everybody off with COVID payments, You don't have to work, just sit back and have a beer, And it's putting the economy into a real bad situation because all that money has to be paid back to the bank, with high interest rates and everything. And where's the government going to get the money from? The taxpayer, No
one has any money to spend. I mean, that's the thing, is like, man, it's going to be a situation where, I keep, hearing, oh, the economy's doing great and the stock market's doing great and we're creating new jobs. And then I look and I see reports that, there's a lot of people that are just feeling uneasy about everything. And in fact, there was like, from last year, of course, there was 1 million new people filing for unemployment, so there's a lot more employment going on, even though they say there's creation of new jobs. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe. I can just tell you, I just don't know how this can be, people just, to me, don't seem like they're feeling very comfortable about what's taking place right now. And I feel like they know something is up. They just haven't looked into it deeper. I mean, they just believe what they see on mainstream media.
Yeah.
The mainstream narrative of all this, So here we are. Here's something I saw that was weird, Rich. So I went to Walmart the other day and I'm in there and yeah, I know. I went to the big box, but check it out, man. And I told my audience this and I said, this is weird, but I saw all their TVs, the big ones, right? The big, the big flat screen, this and that. Well, they all had tags on them. They're all selling them. Well, like used to before, like if there was a special sale item or something, they'd print one up and be like, this one's on sale this week or whatever. But all of them were for sale, Rich. Super cheap, man. I'm talking about 65-inch televisions for like $350, Like, damn. Like, it's like they're moving these things out. And of course, my first thought was, well, maybe it's just because, well, Christmas is around the corner, right? But then I'm thinking, no, we're not going to have Christmas. And they know we're not going to have Christmas because round 2 is going to be coming out. But here's the thing. I felt like they're just trying to move this shit, dude. They're trying to get rid of their inventory because I feel like pretty soon TVs aren't going to be real popular. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's not going to be a real need for television. Don't know why. Could be many factors involved. Could be the fact that, people don't have jobs, don't have, I mean, they
Yeah.
may have, what I'm saying? It's like, it could be a lot of things, but I had this sense, I had a really dark feeling about the way that they were selling off all their inventory. And, and it was all printed tags. It wasn't like a manufacturer's tag for sale. It was like something printed off a printer. And I thought, that's weird. And all of them for sale. Why all of them now? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my conspiratorial mind, but I got some bad juju from that, man. I was like, something doesn't feel right about this. Something seems like they want to move this shit out because I don't know. I feel like, it may come to a point where, a loss of jobs, maybe social uprising. I don't know. A lot of things could be going down here in the next few months that, TV is not going to really matter a whole hell of a lot.
Well, that's the first thing that BLM go after. TVs.
TVs, yeah. Well, I reported last night that I had saw another article about basically society and the fact they said something like, and I said this, I said, do y'all feel a sense that something major is kind of on the horizon? Something is like coming, like it's sort of like something wicked this way comes, right? And I thought, man,
well, you're
weird.
a conspiracy theorist.
I know. So then I pull up this article by Zero Hedge, and I normally don't go to that site, but there was this one article, and just ironically, there it was. Do you feel like something is like dark times are ahead? Well, you're not alone, and it was like, what the hell? And they started going into this talking about like the NFL, right, and how everyone like looks forward to that type of thing. And anyway, if you gauge it by that, it's got a 16% drop off from last year. Like, that's a lot of people that don't give a shit right now about the NFL. And so that tells you that people are just not in the right frame of mind, or at least not the mindset they were last year, which was like maybe looking forward to the holidays and that type of thing. They're not even looking forward to football, that's a big drop off. And that's basically what they said. So I started thinking like that's an interesting statistic. So who knows,
I think
man?
people are starting to feel the water starting to boil.
Mm-hmm.
The frog, you turn it up. Now we're at a point where, hey, wait a minute, it's getting kind of hot in here.
Oh,
There's an awareness.
They might start to realize that things are a little crazy. I feel like Idiocracy has now become a documentary. The movie, I feel like I can't believe I used to watch that and just laugh. I remember, it wasn't even probably 5, maybe 6 years ago, man, where YouTube was such a completely different place and people were, all the stuff out, and like people were acting so, dude, I feel like an alien, honestly, Richard. I feel like an alien on a different world where like in a place where people just, I'm like, who are you people anymore? Where is your fight? Where is your, I mean, goodness gracious, nobody says anything anymore. Everybody just shuts up and just goes along, and just, I mean, I see all these, I don't know. I see all these like I think of like these old videos I used to watch, like some sort of like Pink Floyd totalitarian video where people are just all walking in a straight line. It's dark and gloomy. I think I made a video like that once, and I used a part from a movie. But like, I see this stuff, and it's just like, man, it kind of feels like that's where people are. Like, I don't even think they know what to think. I think people are just kind of like dumbfounded right now, and they're sort of lost. And I'll tell you, when I'm in a place where the masks are on and I'm looking at people's eyes, dude, there is no life left in those people's faces, bro. It's freaky, man. It is absolutely sad to go shopping to see people. It used to be, I have one of these, like, it has a nice deli section, and people would be in there. You could feel the vibe and the energy from people. It was happy. Now it's like they're in there and they just want to get out of there as fast as they can because Well, they have to wear the mask. Who wants to be a place where you got to wear that shit? And even when you're in there and you look at people, they don't want to talk to you because it sucks talking through the thing. Um, it's just awful. It's not a good
Well,
way to be, you
this is
know.
not my world, that's for sure.
Oof. I'm here to tell you, buddy. This
But
is,
it's
yeah.
like, you ever see the old movie Time Machine
I saw the one that I think
from
they remade it.
1960?
No, I didn't see the 60. I saw the new one they remade though.
Oh, there's a really good scene in there where I think it's the Eloy. They're just young kids all dressed in white outfits, and they're taken care of, and they don't get nothing. And he's going, what's wrong with you people, and they don't get anything they're saying. He's just like, he
Hmm.
asks to see where the books are kept so he can look up history and stuff. Books, like, what's that? And that's the way
Oh,
people are today. They're just mindless cattle, you know and they
yeah.
think that Farmer Johnson is so good to them because Farmer Johnson feeds them and takes care of them when they're sick and stuff. Yeah, but then in the end, Farmer Johnson's, honing the knife. It's
All
time's up.
right.
You know, but they don't understand. And then the people, like the cows that they're all on board trucks, and the cows that put their nose to the air and say something doesn't smell right. I think I smell blood as they're heading towards the factory. They're the ones that are condemned and ridiculed and stoned. Well, you don't know what you're talking about. Like
Oh,
society wants to go down the toilet.
wow. I wonder if the new one is the new Time Machine is based off the '60s version and all. I don't know, but in that I'm trying to correlate it with what I've seen. In the newer version. It's sort of like the guy goes back in time and he doesn't like I guess he actually goes in the future, and then in the future, like it's sort of like we're back in the Stone Age days or whatever, and then there's these things that are underground. The elites went underground basically and changed their DNA so that they could live underground, but they have to eat humans. And like, it's probably not too far from the truth, from where we're
Oh
at
yeah.
now. I don't know, Speaking of that and segueing into that, there was a guy, and you mentioned him on your video. His name was Richard Jacobs, or
Oh
Richard
no,
Jacob.
David Jacobs.
Oh, David Jacob. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, David Jacob. Yeah, what was that all about? I heard you talking about that, Dan. I was like, that's interesting. What he believes that we are
Being
they walk
replaced.
among us. We're
Yeah,
being
we're being
replaced.
replaced by hybrids. So it
Oh,
makes sense because
okay.
that's all these aliens do is they come down for DNA and eggs and sperm. And so he said that through his research and stuff, because he would hypnotize contactees, they'd all have the same story. Didn't matter what their background was, what their belief system was. They all had the same story over and over. Some people are kidnapped to take care of the hybrids for a while to teach them how to be human because they don't know, they don't know how to react. They don't know anything about our society or anything. So they put them here on Earth about when they're 14, 15, 16, and they have to be taught like things like when somebody says, "Hey, how's it going?" And then they're taught how to respond and how to react. And that sometimes they're blank. And I see a lot, I bump into a lot of blank people. They don't seem to be familiar with where they are or what they're doing. And I'm just thinking of that book. It was called The Threat. Somebody had sent it to
Correct.
me. Yeah. And
Weird.
so
What
what
is
they're
that?
doing is replacing
Mm-hmm.
us with the hybrids because the hybrids have no spirit. So
And they're
they
hybrid from what? The Archons?
our DNA.
Our DNA and their DNA, like the Archons stuff? Or is it
Yeah.
more like grays, or are we talking about reptilian, or what do we what
Well,
are they fused?
okay. Well, the archons, for lack of a better description, are the fallen angels, And then the Archons created the Greys, something they're robotic, they're actual robots, but nobody's sure about them. But they're lower on the totem pole. They take the orders from the reptilians. And then every one of these contactees described a reptilian that would be in charge of the operation. And so now if we're getting hybridized, well, no wonder there's so many stories of people shapeshifting, but they
Right.
don't have spirit. So if they don't have spirit, then they're operating off their own brains for information and stuff, which sounds
Harvesting
pretty much
our
AI,
yeah.
artificial intelligence. And I
Ooh.
bump into a lot of weird people, and it just they don't jive. I mean, they're weird.
Well,
They're
I looked into
blank.
stuff. I looked into UFO stuff like 20 years ago. I was into that pretty hard, just checking it out, But, uh, I can't remember the chick's name. Dadgum, it just slipped my mind. But there was a woman, and she did the same thing. Dr. Kayla Turner.
Yeah,
Dr. K.
that's their, yeah.
Yeah, she was, and I was gonna ask you, is Jacob still alive, or did he die mysteriously?
No, I think he's still alive.
Is he okay? Well, Dr. Kayla Turner apparently got some fast acting cancer. I don't know.
Yeah, they all get fast acting cancer.
They
like
really do. It's quite uncanny.
Jack Ruby was going to confess and tell everything about the assassination of Kennedy, and he got a fast acting cancer.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy how that happens. That fast acting cancer can get you. You just, never seen cancer that can kill within like a month. It's like holy shit. Like boom, once
Sometimes
you
in
got.
weeks.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Dr. Kayla Turner, she was doing the same thing. She was hypnotizing people. She apparently tells this crazy story about Denton, Texas, where she witnessed a UFO, and they saw it, but then there was missing time, and then it was really bizarre, like this, like I don't know, it was almost like an invasion type thing. Well, apparently, from that, she just started digging, and she started telling stories about how like back in the old days where you had a regular telephone on the wall, people would come over her conversation and say things to her, like it was like literally tapped. They were like messing with her, and then she was still digging. She's a just a really tough Texas girl, but she was like, "Well, I don't give a shit. You guys mess with my family, type of thing. I'm going to talk about this." And the weird thing about it is, all of her abductees weren't taken off world; they were taken underground, and all of them had the little same story, dude. The same damn story. And I'll tell you, like out of all of the researchers, and I mean, there's been a few that seem, pretty interesting and pretty legit. I can't necessarily speak for that, but I mean, there's some out there that don't. Okay. Like, I don't know. A few. I'm not going to name names, but there's a few of them out there that's like, okay, you're just trying to sell a book. But some of these I think were solid researchers, and I think she was one of them. And she said that everyone had the same story of a breeding program, that they could make you believe, like they would tap into something, like they would make you think that the thing that you were having sex with, okay, was actually like whoever. It could be your husband, or it could be whatever, it was just strange. Like they could make you see whatever you wanted to see. And then there was always like a military presence involved with it too.
Oh, yeah.
There was some weird like shadow military presence. So that was odd. And so people tell the same damn story, and I started thinking like, okay, I mean, how many of these stories that we got to hear? We start, building a pattern. And if we're building a pattern, we're starting to build a conspiracy. And if there's a conspiracy, then there's, some major players probably involved in this. And so, yeah, who knows, man, what's going on with all this? Like you were mentioning, I think in your video, you're talking about the cattle mutilations. I had a friend who absolutely, and I know this guy. I mean, I know this guy. This is a good buddy of mine. I'd put him, top 10 of my buddy list. And he had a farm, and he had a cattle come up mutilated like that, cored out. you know, and it's of course always like, oh, it's coyotes don't cut with precision like that, you know, no
Yeah, no
blood,
kidding.
real weird stuff, man, really weird stuff. In fact, after the carcass was laying there, he said the vultures wouldn't even eat it. Really
Yeah.
strange. Yeah, you know what the
Well,
hell's going on?
that's what that oh that the guy that told David Icke about all the reptilians in Africa. What was his name?
Oh
He was
yeah,
a shaman.
the shaman. Yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he said that they
Mhm.
if they ever found a dead gray, the animals wouldn't go near it. Nothing would eat it. So I'm
I
just
mean,
connecting a dot there.
yeah, I know if the rumors are true, then the dude's like, yeah. I mean, the things aren't even like legitimately human. It's not even flesh. Who knows? It could be some sort of, I don't know, android type thing going on. I don't know. I mean, you
Yeah,
know, who the hell knows? I do know. I think I've showed you that picture, the picture of the reptilians. I think I showed you that before. The one where my friend, my buddy, Bill Allen, he contacted me. Real crazy story. When I first got on YouTube, this this guy contacts me. He's like, he's tripping. He's like freaking out, and he's like, "Oh man, you're gonna think I'm nuts." He goes, "I'm gonna tell you right now, I would think I'm nuts, but listen, I got to tell you this story, Dan." He says, for some reason, he goes, you were talking about the Mandela effect. You remember how to spell J.C. Penney there, Rich? Remember the store J.C. Penney? J.C.P. What? How you spell
yeah,
Penny? How you spell Penny,
yeah.
Rich? How you spell it?
Uh, you want me to spell it?
Yeah, spell it out. How you spell
Oh,
Penny?
well, JCIPENNY.
Right. Yeah, like J.C. Penney, right? Like a penny.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, sure. Well, why not? His name was James Cash Penny, after all, right? I mean, I always thought it was a great name because it's like a play on words sort of thing. James Cash
yeah.
Penny. Yeah. Well, it's never been Penny, Rich, never. And it's never been PNNY. It's always been PNNEY, Penne.
Oh, weird.
I'm going to throw Mandela effects at you from time to time during the broadcast. So just get ready, okay? You're going to love this. We're going to have a lot of fun, okay? So, yeah. So, anyway, back to my story. Yeah. So, that's, what was I at? What was I talking about?
Yeah, this guy was gonna tell you his encounter.
Oh yeah. So oh my gosh, I just totally got a brain. I just lost it here on air. I never do this. No, so yeah, his encounter. Oh, which guy was it? What were we talking about? We were talking about the oh my gosh.
Well, one of your best friends and the cattle, and then you moved on to some
Yeah.
fellow who
Oh
had
yeah,
something.
Bill Allen. Bill Allen. Yeah, thanks. God, I'm talking a million miles an hour. Sorry, it's the coffee. All right. So yeah, my friend. So he comes to me and he's like, "This is when I was doing Mandela videos," and he says, "Dude, we watched a video where you were talking about how the J.C. Penney lost the E." And I was like, "Lost the E?" I'm like, "No, dude. I've always said my video currently, it should it shouldn't have an E. It should just be PNNY." He goes, "I know," but he goes, I watched the broadcast and we looked it up with three people. We were having dinner. We had the TV on, watching YouTube, and your video came up. And I said, "No kidding." And he says, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, so what happens?" And he says, "Well, he goes, oddly enough, it's like the same video, except you're in one video, you're just talking about different ways." And I said, "Okay, that sounds insane. What are you trying to say?" Like, I thought this guy was crazy. And then he goes to say, "Well, listen, I've experienced a lot of paranormal stuff in my life." And he sends me pictures, and I was like, okay, what the hell is this? So he sends me his picture of what he saw next to him. He saw what looked like heat rising, and it
Uh-huh.
looked like, when you're cooking on a grill or something, or if it's a real hot day and you see the heat rising off the road, you can see that kind of like that distortion. Well, he
Mm.
saw that like kind of close to him, like but in the, I guess in his back alley or something. So he took his camera out and he had it set to burst, and he always played with the settings on the camera, like different, different settings. He was always, messing with it. But he had it to so you hold it down and it shoots like 20 shots real fast. So he takes
Mm.
all these shots. Well, the first 4 shots, there's nothing there. But frame number 5 or shot number 5, up pops this picture of this thing looking directly at him. And I
Mm.
kid you not, Richard, it looks like a damn reptilian.
Mm.
It looks like a reptilian. And beside it, you can see like what looked like 2 little grays. Okay. And I'm like, oh, and there's this weird blue light, kind of like a cloak in front of his like torso. It's
Mm.
really strange picture. And I thought, well, okay, maybe I'm seeing artifacts that are, but you can't deny the fact that this thing has a ridge going right down its face. It's almost got like a reddish eye. You can see a lot of detail in it. It's really, really trippy. I don't know if I've shown it to you or not, but I'll have to send it to you. And
Yes.
then he sent me more pictures too, man. He sent me a lot of stuff. Like, I can show. Well, you're on your phone. You're not gonna be able to see it, but let's see here. Yeah, it's always just weird to show this stuff, but yeah. Let me get to it here, and I'll
Well,
show it to you.
people say I do not believe in reptilians and all that garbage. Well, they talk like that until they get tapped on the shoulder, and then it's totally different. Oh, I believe they're there. You know,
Mm,
same with the UFO. There's no such thing as UFO until one lands in your backyard.
I suppose. I mean, like, I've seen some stuff. I mean, like, have I seen a saucer and like something like that? I don't know what I saw. All I know is I saw some strange stuff in the sky. I don't know. They were lights. I can't say they were saucer shaped or what shape they were. They were just strange, and that's all I can say. But I've witnessed a lot of other strange events. I mean, when you witness the sky change, the moon change, the sun change, you witness all those kind of things. Who cares about a UFO?
Yeah,
For me, you know, it's like,
the moon and the sun are off by 4 degrees. Nobody knows why.
oh, really? And
Yeah.
what? Tell us
And
more
then
about
the
that.
star says there's new constellations out there that they're finding. That
Well,
blows me away.
yeah. Well, let's
And
see.
then the Inuit, just to say, the Inuits, they use the stars as a mapping system. So when they go hunting, they know exactly where they are. Now they say the stars are all different. They're all moved. I'm
Right.
going, oh my God, this is creepy.
Huh. That
But
is
there
weird.
seems to be a real reality shift. I'll tell you
Mhm.
something. I was doing a video, and oh my goodness, I get, when I'm talking, I get really, dried mouth. And I'm sitting there and I go, oh no, I forgot my glass. I have a big red glass, right? I forgot my glass on the counter. So I'm dying to end the video so I can go drink some water, right? And then so the video ends and I go over there and I grab the glass and I drink. Then I'm reviewing the video, right? And in the video, I'm taking a sip from the glass. I'm
Huh.
going, I didn't get out. That was the whole point. I was
Wait a
trying
minute.
to.
What happened again? Hold on. Run that by me again. I'm sorry. What?
Okay, so I'm making a video. I'm getting really
Yeah.
thirsty, and my glass of
Yeah.
water is left on the counter because I
Uh
forgot
huh.
it. Right. So
Sure.
I usually have a sip while I'm doing the show, and then I really really wanted to end the show so I get the water, and then I got
Uh-huh.
the water, had my drink and all that, and then I was reviewing the show. And there's a scene there where I'm taking a sip from the glass. I mean, during the
But,
show,
but you're thinking during the show the glass is on the counter.
I can see it on the counter.
Whoa! No, you
And then I
gotta be
saw
kidding me.
that, and I just went, "Wow!" Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, and what you're talking about, Mandela? I think the creepiest one I've ever heard is we
Uh,
used to measure. measure a second by going Mississippi, like one Mississippi, two
Uh-huh.
Mississippi, and then 1001, 1002. Now it
Yeah.
goes one miss click, and so the second's already over with. I've done that with
Oh,
a
oh,
stopwatch, eh?
I did that too. I made a video about that, Rich. Years
Oh,
ago, I said, oh no, I did. I talked about this. Somebody mentioned it. Somebody on YouTube said, they said time was off with their atomic clock. Hmm? What do you
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Yeah, they said they it was resetting to different times, and I was like, okay, that
yeah.
shouldn't happen. Okay, so I thought that was a little weird. So I thought, well, let me count the seconds. Let me count the seconds the way I remember it. And I used to have a cadence. I got really a cadence for it. It'd be like 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, like that. Okay, so I
Yeah.
would count it out, and I, and all right, so I would do this cadence. And as I was doing this, I would be 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and then click, and I would see where I was at. If I was at 3 seconds, I'd start. I used to be pretty good with that. And I am telling you, like I told people, I said, try it yourself. Do the one Mississippi or 1,000 countdown and see where you're at. Dude, I was like way off. These seconds were blowing past. Time itself was way past the cadence.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
I remember feeling at that time, I said, do you guys feel like time is like sped up super fast? And that was one of the things I said. And I tried to, prove that theory. I said, this is the best I can do. I can go by the cadence I remember. Let's all try it and tell me what you're getting on at least a stopwatch or something like that. And I had tons of people reply back like, wow, dude, that is trippy. It is so off. I'm like, yeah, it really is. So then when things sort of settle down, because the Mandela effect is like a wave, okay? What we
Mm.
experience in the Mandela effect is a heightened sense of things where we experience a lot of Mandela effects changes, and then things sort of settle down. Well, when things sort of settled down, I tried the experiment again. And would you know that it was dead on?
Well,
Exactly dead on. Yeah. So I really believe that, man. That is a total trippy thing. It's just like our position in the galaxy. We were always told that we're on the outer edge of the galaxy. That
yeah.
we are on the very edge, the edge of the what arm were we on? Do you remember the arm that we were on, Rich?
The arm?
Yeah,
You
which
mean
arm? Which galactic arm
Milky
of the
Milky
galaxy?
Way?
Yeah, Milky Way is a galaxy, but which arm? They had different names. You remember the name?
Oh, no. Oh,
The
no.
Sagittarius arm. Remember, ring a bell? The
Oh,
Sagittarius.
oh, yeah, yeah.
The Sagittarius. Yeah. Well, no. Well, guess what? We're no longer on the Sagittarius arm, Rich.
Oh,
In fact, we're
good.
2/3 of the way into the galaxy, Rich, and and
Oh,
and we're on the Orion Spur.
uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, this
Uh,
goes
uh,
to show conclusively that our reality is no better than plasticine or clay. I mean, it changes all the time, and
man.
history changes too.
Well, I listen. Oh my gosh, we cover this thing called mandanimals. That is a term that I coined, which is a Mandela animal. Like,
Mm.
did you know that there is animals now that are showing up that were extinct? In fact, there's a list of them.
Oh
Uh, my
no.
co-host, my co-host Fizzy Pop found this information. They're called Lazarus animals. Look it up. Lazarus
Oh,
animals are animals that were thought to be extinct but are no longer. And there's like I don't know. I'm not. I'm gonna talk out of my ass here. I don't know. I know there's probably at least over 100 to 150 of these animals that people thought were extinct but now exist again.
oh,
And I'm telling you, there are so many animals and fish that like have little appendages like arms. It's like, why didn't we see any of this stuff when we were growing up in school and we were taught evolution? None of this stuff was showing up. Yet now, I'm telling you, I figured out evolution. Evolution has nothing to do with a long period of change. Evolution happens in an instant, as far as I'm concerned. Things can
mm.
just change. Things can just be in our world again. I don't know how it's happening. I don't know what the hell's taking place here, but there is some strange stuff going on.
Well,
Okay. And the animals are incredible. Let me tell you.
They're every year scientists discover new insects that have never been seen before, new animals that have never been seen before, and
Oh,
new plants that have never been seen before. And all of a
yeah.
sudden they're discovered for the first time. It's like have you ever seen Star Trek, the original one? It's an episode called Shore Leave.
No,
Things
I'm
that
not
they would
familiar with.
think about would come into existence instantly because there was a
No.
manufacturing plant below under the earth that would if you were thinking, one of them was thinking about a Japanese aircraft there during the war, and all of a sudden there's one coming down from the sky, shooting at them. So I've always come up with my own theory, which is the dream factory. Our dreams are actually manufactured at times. So things come into existence like pow, just out of nowhere. You'll see people that they. Well, there's one guy, he walked to work every day. Every day he walked past the skyscraper, and one day he walked there, and it's not there anymore. And everybody, he
Oh,
talked to
yeah.
people, and they said, "No, what are you talking about? There's never been a skyscraper there." You know,
It's
and
funny. Like stories you mentioned are so indicative of people who've experienced the Mandela effect. To like experience like I don't have well, I do have kind of a story like that, but yeah, just finish your thought on that because it's interesting you're mentioning this.
then they had a library. I
Mhm.
think it was in Illinois, and they decided that when it was being built to put in the Stegosaurus sculpture, right? And then
Mhm.
this lady that worked at the library, she been going there for what 50 years or something. One day she comes and the Stegosaurus thing's gone. And then they all say that they're telling her, "What are you talking about? It was never here." And they did. The newspaper got wind of it and decided to do an article on it. And they interviewed people. 50-50 believed the bones were there, and they saw them. And the other 50 said, "No, never, never." So it's pretty, plasticine reality there.
Yeah. Well, here's and I'm gonna put these on screen. I just reported on this last night. Pre Lum Minimal, if he's listening. Thank you for this. So basically, what it is we have these crazy prehistoric plants that showed up on Mount Kilimanjaro. Look at this thing. Check this out, Rich. I don't know if you can see it or not. Um, and hopefully you can. But right there's this prehistoric. Let me see if I can blow it up here. Look at that thing. What is that, Rich? What the hell is this? It's like a prehistoric tree they said that they found on Mount Kilimanjaro. Like I would think
Hmm.
people climb this mountain all the time, you know? Do you see that? Isn't that weird? Now you're
Yeah,
in
that's pretty weird.
it is weird. It's just bizarre. It looks alien to me. It's just really, really weird. And this isn't the only tree. There are tons of new plant life. I mean, and you know how we were talking about they do find new stuff all the time, sure. But and I remember finding stuff, but it was always small stuff, you know. It wasn't like a whole new species of whale or a whole new species of shark or jellyfish that I did you know that oh my God, I could go on and on about Mandela stuff. But look, here's the thing. Here's another one. You're in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been told as a kid when you were growing up, you ever told of certain plants to watch out for? And if you can remember, what were those plants?
Poison ivy,
Okay.
and
What else?
I forget the other ones.
Poison oak. Does that
Oh
ring a
yeah,
bell?
yeah, yeah. That's exact. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is there any other thing? Anything worse than those two?
I can't think of anything.
No, I don't think it's on. You're on the West Coast. I think these are more East Coast. Nonetheless, it still could be in your area. These are called hogweed plants. Now, hogweed, Let me just show you the sores you get from hogweed. Apparently, they burn you. Right here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the most dangerous plant in the world. It can burn you. Yeah, you can't really see the pictures, but they're very graphic. And you can see the arm, the hand. Yeah, apparently if you touch this thing, it can definitely it hurt you really bad. And they rope these things off. It shows people taking pictures with these things like they're wearing hazmat suits, getting next to these things. They grow up to be 13 feet tall.
Whew.
And the weird thing about it, a
13.
Canadian guy contacted me a few years ago. He said, look, that's what I do landscaping. Okay. Then one day there was this huge weed in this person's backyard, and I've never seen it. And the more he researched, he's like, you're not going to believe this, Dan, but there's this thing called a hogweed plant, and I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it.
No, and I researched it, and apparently these things are growing everywhere. And nobody had ever heard of these things. Most people I brought to your attention, like I've lived up in the East Coast, around Canada, up in that area, and I've never heard of anything like this. Really strange. So
I've
anyway,
never seen one.
yeah, it's kind of trippy, man. There's all this new plant life that's popping up, and some of it, yeah, you got to be careful. But I was wondering if you heard about that. No.
One thing with the Mandela that really bugs me, and it's quite a contention if you tell people about it, was McDonald's. It used to be McDonald's, and they had the signature hamburger. What was the McDonald's burger? What is it?
The Big Mac.
Yeah, yeah. It had the signature, and now I grew up at McDonald's. I mean, this after school and stuff, we go to McDonald's with the signature. The signature hamburger isn't McDonald's, like a McBurger. It's Mac. And I was talking to some woman in town here, and she remembers it too. She said, "Oh yeah, it was always McDonald's, not McDonald's."
Right. No,
really
that's
and another thing that really bugs me is the heart. Our heart, I grew up being taught it was on the left side of your chest.
Yeah.
Now it's in the middle. So reality is bending and changing all the time.
The heart one is funny to me because I've seen so many diagrams. I even referenced the Pulp Fiction movie when they were going to give the girl, they're going to plunge this adrenaline into her heart. She's having an OD. She's ODing from, I guess she took, heroin. She snorted it, but she thought it was Coke or something. She snorts all this heroin. She starts ODing. The guy doesn't know what to do. It's John Travolta. He takes her over to this friend of his, the drug dealer, of course. And he happens to have this, shot of adrenaline, big old freaking shot. Well, and he's like, okay, what you got to do is you got to plunge this thing right into her chest. You got to get through the breastplate though, but you got to, it's got to go right into the heart. And the funny thing is he takes the Sharpie and he draws it over to the left, it doesn't go right through the brain. He punches it right in there, like to the left where the heart is, to the left. And that's my residue. I'm like, look, he does. It's not in the center of the chest. He goes, over to the side. So, I don't know. Is it residue? Maybe. I think it is. And those kind of ones is like, if I know a lot about something, I will definitely stand up and be like, yes, absolutely. But I don't really don't remember for sure. But I do remember them saying it was more on the left. But I didn't see a lot of diagrams of the human body. You know what I mean? Like here and there, or like everybody did growing up.
Well, when they stand for the anthem, they put their hand on the left.
We do. That's what we always were told to do because our heart was over to the left. That's why we put our hand there, right?
Yeah.
If it was right in the middle, the way it is, well, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. Yeah, man. Let's see. Here's one for you. You remember Oppenheimer's famous quote?
Yeah. Today or time we become destroyers or something.
Yeah. I remember his he says, now I have become death, the destroyer of the world. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's Yeah, unfortunately, it's not the quote anymore.
Really?
No. Instead of saying now I have become death,
Yeah.
say that it says now I. It says now I. Now I am become. Now
Wow.
I am become death. What? I am. Now
Eh,
I become death. Think about that for a second. It's a little weird. Do you
Well,
know in the
what?
Bible?
I got one
Hmm,
for you. What?
okay.
That song "I'll Be Home for Christmas."
Yeah.
You can. What does he say?
Uh,
You can.
I'll be home for Christmas. How's it go? Trying to remember all. I am so bad with songs, man. I'm
You
horrible. I'm sorry.
you
But what's the
you
lyric,
can.
Shane? What do you
You can count
count on
on
me?
me,
You can count on
right?
me.
Well,
Yes.
now I just listening to it a while ago, and now it says coming home for Christmas. You can plan on it,
You,
like you
really?
know.
I think I remember somebody. I think somebody covered that. Now I think about it. Did we cover that, guys? Is it count on? Yeah. Okay. So people in the chat are like, count on me. Count on me. Okay. Now, is it plan on me or is it what
Yeah,
is it?
now you can. Now I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on it.
I'll be home for Christmas. Let me look up the lyrics here. All right, hold on. So a lot of the Christmas songs have gotten a little wonky, man. Uh, Geez, I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me.
Yeah.
What? All right. Yeah, that's what it says, guys. I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents by the tree.
Yeah, and that I just discovered with the mamas
Mm,
and papas.
yeah.
Uh, Stopped by a church, and I got on my knees
Oh,
and I
that's
began to
oh my
pray.
goodness.
And
Yes.
now it's I pretend to pray,
I
which doesn't even
pretend to
make
pray.
sense. It doesn't even make sense.
I know. I know. I pretend to pray. It was
Yeah,
and Life Matrix covered that back in the day. One of my co-hosts that was on the show in the beginning, and he was tripping because he's in California, right? I am sure he's heard a lot of mamas and papas,
yeah,
living out there. And he's a little bit older than me, so he grew up in a little bit earlier time, so he probably heard the song more than I did, especially being out in Southern California. And like I don't know, and he actually walked. There was a group out there on the beach, and they had a little band, and they were singing, and he asked them about the song, and I remember his video about that. And unfortunately, I think he takes him down, but he used to have a video up where he was interviewing these people, and they're like, yeah, it'd be like I began to pray. They remember. I mean, these are musicians,
yeah,
so it's not just like our bad memories. Apparently, music. He goes, no, it's pretend, and he's like, what? And yeah, it was good. It was a good video. Good stuff to see. Here's one. Do you remember Jesus saying, "For my people are blank for lack of knowledge"? Remember
oh,
that one?
yeah. My people are
My people, not are, but for my people, blank for lack of knowledge. What was it?
perish.
Oh, perish. Right. Right. For my people perish for lack of knowledge. That's a famous quote by
Yeah.
Jesus, right? Well, you can't find that in the Bible anymore.
Oh,
It
what?
perish. It says, for my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah, dude. See, we, at least on this channel, don't just look at the Mandela effect as some weird change. We feel like, I personally feel like, I say we, but I would say for myself, I'll speak for myself, that I personally feel like these Mandela changes are messages. These are kind of showing us like, things that are about to transpire, or, the times we're living in, just kind of reiterating the seriousness of the situation. Because things get, it seems like the changes get a little more, a little more serious, a little more, um, well, with a heightened sense to them. I mean, it was my people, for my people are, my people perish at one point. Well, now it's destroyed. And it's like, ooh.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, those messages to me really speak volumes. And I think that's really profound when we catch those changes. It's just like the whole book of Revelations. I thought that was an interesting change. I talked about Revelations in the Bible. I said, well, first off, there's a few books in the Bible that just look bizarre to me, but whatever. That's a whole nother topic. But the book of Revelations, the wording is changing, dude. The wording doesn't make sense.
Mm.
Revelation in the Bible is about revealing, the reveal, right? Wouldn't
Yeah.
you agree?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah, that's what I mean.
Revelation. Well, okay. All right. You agree with that. So then explain to me the word, because it doesn't make sense, because revelations in the Bible is revel. Revel. Well, revel is a party. That doesn't
Oh,
make any sense. It should be the revelations. Get it?
yeah, reveal.
Reavel. Yeah. Reveal. Revelations. Like, and it's weird because I found tons and tons of residue of people remembering it as the revelations, not the revelation. Even though we call it revelations, I
Yeah,
understand, but
yeah.
the word doesn't make sense. Like it is
Mm.
in. There's no way you can convince me that that's the proper way to spell it. That was not correct. And I just remember thinking, why? It's like it's missing something. What is it missing? And I went over it quite extensively, and I realized what it was. Oh my God, it's the reveal. Well, it's not. It's not a
Mm.
real
Yeah,
revelation. It's a revelation. It's a. I was like, okay, well, that's an interesting one. A party, huh? A celebration.
yeah.
Well, okay, all right. Well, we're here in the end anyway. Get ready for the party, people. That's all I have to say. It's just a weird, sort of conclusion you come to. You just don't know what to do with that. You're just like, okay, I suppose. The book of Matthew. I was, I could have sworn Matthew was Mathew. That's how you spelt Matthew. But apparently, there's all these Matthews now with double T's.
Yeah, double T's, yeah. Yeah.
Why? It's so weird to me, man. I don't understand double T Matthews. Matthews in my memory were always just a T, and it's weird because I found churches and places like there's a St. Matthew's Church, right?
Mm.
Okay, St. Matthew's, fair enough, but they have it spelled Methew on the outside of their church.
Mm.
One T. How do you get this wrong? I like, even if you do remember double T, fine, but I'm telling you that is a Mandela effect. And it is one of those ones that for me was really tried and true. It was just, yeah, it just shook me a little bit. Like, but a lot of people, and I have friends, Matt, I think of Quantum of Conscience, his name is Matthew. And even his name has double T. I'm like, bro, you weren't double T at all. I mean, what's going on? Have you had, I don't know if you've experienced this, but like, maybe it's just because I see so many people's names on YouTube or whatever. We've had this like rash of like weird, shifty names with people, like people we've known in the community for like the last 4 years. Every once in a while, somebody seems to lose something or whatever, just strangest stuff. I've actually had a broadcast once where a gal, her name was Robin. I always bring poor Robin. She's not even around to defend herself, but Robin, her name was Keneally. This is what she went with a K, like
Mm.
Knely, Keneally, right? And I
Mm.
remember she had sent me a letter, right? And it was some of her daughter's artwork. Really cute stuff, really nice. And I had this thing, and this is before the change. I didn't even think to look at, I knew it was sent from her, no big deal. But I had the envelope here at the house. Now her name changes, and I remember I actually had a broadcast like, like people's names, like, whatever, like changes in the Mandela community. And I went live and I asked her with her permission if it'd be okay if I put her on the spot. And she agreed. And so I'm like, what the hell? I was like, how many of you guys remember Robin with a K? And about 70% of the people were like, yeah, she had a K in her name. What, and she didn't anymore. And people will say, well, Dan, she just changed her name, whatever. Well, the problem is that she was good enough to send me her driver's license, like on the spot. And I still had that letter before all the, I mean, this was like 2 months before all this happened. So I saw that envelope. So I grabbed the envelope and she didn't put Keneally on, she put Neely, apparently. Like, so why did I remember a K? Why do I remember seeing the K? It's so freaking weird. And, she'd experienced strange Mandela effects on her own right. She experienced one where she found a strange turtle walking in her yard. A turtle in Michigan of all. There's a turtle. So this turtle, it looks strange. She said that when she picked it up, there was like a burn mark under the turtle. Huh?
Weird.
No, it gets weirder. Guess where the turtle's from? It's a Russian turtle.
A Russian turtle.
A Russian turtle. Like, how do you have a Russian turtle in your yard in Michigan? I don't know. The stories I've heard, man. Yeah, I just, just been completely bizarre, brother.
But what to categorize it, we can refer to these things as changes, right? So there's changes in audio, there's changes in things we see, and all this with the Mandela effect. So don't you think it's rather easy to make all these changes if everything is a hologram?
Well, I wouldn't. I don't know if I guess. I mean, if you want to call it a illusionary or whatever, you want to call it something. You could even say that, some type of. I guess that's just the best terminology we have, right? I call it some sort of like spiritual, holographic, phenomenon going on. I guess is how I would.
It would be easy to somebody sitting there having lunch bored at the operations center and say, hey, let's just do something funny. Let's put a Russian turtle in the yard. And then all they have to do is push a couple of buttons.
Well, what's weird is there was some reporting done about weird shit like that. There was a report, and it always turns out false. It's always like, oh, that's just a fake, news. But I'm going to tell you, somebody went to great lengths to Photoshop this and make it look real. I'm going to tell you this. But apparently, they found a whale in the middle of like Utah, some field in Utah. Just one day, a guy walked out. There's a whale. Turns out it was, that's just fake. It's not real. But let me tell you, if that story was real and they would have some splaining to do, I promise you they would crush a story like that. Let's just pretend for a second that it is real. Let's say that that's real. That really happened. A guy walks out and sees a whale in a field. How are you going to explain if this thing went viral? And it started to go viral. People were starting to report on it. And then they quickly said, oh, no, it's all fake. How long would it take for them to shut that down as quick as possible? Because let's be honest, how are you going to explain that? That would be some real shifty strangeness going on. And I theorize that, we've looked into the whole world map situation, South America being completely displaced, North America, Australia is not even the land down under anymore. New Zealand.
That's so creepy.
It's moving around, dude. I mean, like dude, I can show you some stuff that will blow your mind. When you look at the border, just look at, when you get a chance sometime, just do this just for fun. Just here's really good. Here's a good Mandela. I mean, good, solid one. You remember the time zones of the United States? And I mean, at least Canada, maybe even Canada. I don't know. I haven't gone into Canada. It always shows United States. But would you say that those time zones, like, you remember them being pretty straight lines going from state to state? And so you'd go into another state and it would be the mountain time or it'd be central time. Yeah. Well, let me just show you real quick on the phone here since you're looking. United States. Show you what time zones look like. Let me show you how wonky things have gotten. You're You're gonna trip. And it makes absolutely no sense, Rich. Things are so whacked. Let me go here to the images. All right, so these are now the time zones of the United States of these Americas. Here we go. Right here, put this up on screen for you. Here you go, Rich. Take a gander at this. I want you to look and see how jacked up this. First off, Texas was never in the mountain time zone at all. Part of Texas now, a good chunk of the western tip of Texas is in the. I remember when I researched this, it was just a little itty bitty part of Texas. It's gotten even deeper into Texas. Look, why would you do this in Kansas? Why on God's green earth would you have a time zone that stretches from Colorado, the mountain time, into Kansas, but then above it and below it, you're in a different time zone? But if you just happen to be right here, you're still in Central Time. How does that make any sense, Rich?
I thought there was an extra slice of time. That
oh,
seems,
you think? Well,
yeah, this is too few that I remember.
You know what's weird? I actually think there's some people that don't even remember. Some people remember only 3 time zones. Some people remember that we had Central, maybe. Some people say that Mountain Time or Pacific Time didn't exist, or Eastern existed, Central Time, and some people wonder if it was either Mountain or Pacific. Maybe there wasn't a Pacific Time. Maybe it was all Mountain Time at one time. But look, it looks like to me, this is how I would describe what's happening. It looks like everything's being condensed. Like somehow physical reality is changing, but the laws remain. And this is what you have. Look how nutty this is. Why would you have time zones all jagged like this? Isn't that nuts?
It doesn't look like anything I remember.
No, it doesn't. If I go to my video, I'll show you what it used to look like. I have an actual map of it. Let's see here. Where is it at? Find my video where I did the time zone. Here it is. All right. Hey, party. Okay, here it goes right here. Here's my video on screen. This is, I gotta find the thumbnail. Let me look. There it is. There's the time zones. See how they go from state to state like this? That's what they look like. They were straight. You would go from one state to the next and change your time. You're not going to go within a state and be like, oh shit, we just passed, Peterson County. Let me change my time. What the hell? No, you cross the straight line and you're in a, we're now in a new time zone. That's how you did it. The way they got it now is completely jacked. I can't believe more people just aren't like freaked out about that one, but that one really bugs me. Time is definitely being shifted around in our time, and you can tell by the time zone map. So there's that. But I did a whole, United States time zones have changed. But of course, it got 17,000 views. This should be a viral video. This is like a public service announcement. Like, holy shit, Mandela. Yeah. But I get censored on YouTube. Just like everyone else. So it sucks. But I think this is a big Mandela change, and nobody seems to really, notice it. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, people are out in La La Land.
Oh yeah, man, totally, dude, totally. So, speaking of La La Land, what about now? I know on one of your videos lately, you were espousing the greatness of NASA.
Was I?
Oh yeah. You love you some NASA. I mean, you're like, man, pass me some NASA, baby. NASA is great. I mean, who doesn't love NASA?
Well, right? I grew up with NASA, and it was like, wow, I wanted to be an astronaut, and I had all the models and everything. And then I started discovering now that NASA is kind of fraudulent, and I got a little tear in my eye.
Oh, I know. I tell you the story once where I had a guy come into my shop. I used to own a automotive shop, and somebody he was referred to me. So he comes over. He says, "Yeah, I used to work at NASA." I can't keep my mouth shut. You know, of course, I got to be like, dude, like, come on, man. Looking at this guy, like, the moon landings, really? Like, can we just really? I mean, you just want to come clean, like right now. I was like, I'll give you 20% off. Just come clean. He's laughing and you can tell he's like really uncomfortable. And I'm just like, I won't let it go. I'm just like, dude, everybody knows this bullshit now. I mean, can we just cut with the charade? Come on, man. You can tell me. Look, if what you want the secret handshake, what do you want? And I try to shake his hand. Like I don't really. I had a friend who was a Mason. I tried to. I said, dude, teach me the handshake, so at least I can get off of tickets and stuff. Like just give me something. So, come on, man, give me a heads up. Anyway, so I joked and tried to give him a Mason handshake or whatever. Anyway, he's like, nah, man, no, and then he actually had a lot more work to do on his car, which at first he was really excited to come back and bring it. Although I never heard from him again. I never, dude, never. I called him. Yeah, it was like just crickets, man. It wasn't happening. So I wonder sometimes if I probably hurt my business sometimes, but that's who I am. I'm not going to change who I am. If look, man, tell me, it's weird because he didn't deny it. He wasn't like, oh, come on, man. Damn, of course we went to the moon. Nothing like that. He was like, dude, it was like, do you want to get away Southwest Airlines commercial moment? You know what I mean? Like, oh, shit. Like, let me just get out of here, dude. Hurry up and fix my shit so I can leave. He did not want to deal with me. But yeah, most people believe that shit. I mean, most people I remember in my class, my instructor, oh God, like day 2, I was in class and the instructor's like, yeah. And he's like, did you know that in one of the other colleges that's affiliated with this one, they're going to have a training course by Tesla? And he's like all talking about how smart Tesla is and how great Tesla is. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, really? You know, the guy that wants to implant, like literally goes around and talks about implanting brain chips into us. Really? That guy? Are you like that stupid? Like, why? And that you're literally just propping up the Antichrist. Like, seriously, dude, like, what is wrong with you? It's just nuts, man. These people are just like, nobody has any clue as to what they're saying. I don't think they see the interviews. Why do we see the interviews? Why are we always the ones that see Bill Gates in this creepy interview talking about round 2 of the COVID virus and him and his boyfriend? Well, whatever she is that a dude?
That's a man wife.
Is that a man, dude, or what? Good God.
It's so obvious.
Oh, I saw the older pictures of she, whatever, and the older ones when it looks like a girl. I don't know, but now when they're sitting side by side, I'm like, dude, she looks like she could break him. Like she is like raw, like she's a very stout looking female.
Well, always look at the hands.
Oh, the hands are crazy, dude.
You'll see a lot of man hands out there.
Oh, she's got some man hands, dude. And it's weird because some people think Gates might be a woman.
Oh, it could be, yeah. You never know nowadays.
I don't know, man. Maybe that's just the way those lizards roll. I don't know. Is that the way it happens?
Like everybody says, oh, I just want to know the truth. I just want the truth. And then you don't give them a little sample and they freak out. You can't say that. I find truth is like a ball with 3 cups. And the guy shifts them around and he says, which one is the truth now? Oh, sorry, you lose.
I'm going to talk about, this is more of a philosophical discussion for all of us listening tonight. I want to ask you, do you think there's a point where you're too awake?
Too awake? That's a good question.
Yeah. There's a point of awakeness where you get to a point where things are still kind of exciting, but you're still connected to
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
world.
yeah. I would I'm kind of thinking I would like a blue pill because we know everything about what they're doing. Every time they scratch their arse, we're on it. We're on it. We got a big web page. We got the pictures. We got everything. We know
Mhm.
everything. And yet, what has it done for us? Nothing. I mean, there's no proper 9/11 investigation. Nobody gets arrested. Just ask Hillary, you know, or Hunter Biden, you know.
Yeah.
No,
How many
everybody
times?
gets away with everything. So, it really hasn't helped me personally. It's made me a little stressed out because I know what they're doing, and you just get tired and worn out after a while. But if you talk about the big enchiladas,
Mhm.
real truth, people just freak out on you. They just, no, no, you don't. How dare you? I'm going to have you shut down by YouTube. Like, I don't know.
You're a racist. You're
Yeah,
racist.
everything's racist now. They
I
actually they
know.
actually want us to not eat white meat with Thanksgiving dinner. Like like I'm
Or is
just
it dark
stunned,
meat? Is
Were
it
you
the
gonna
dark?
come to the
It's okay
house
to
and burn my
be.
house down?
Wait a minute. Is it the white meat or is it the dark meat we can't eat?
The we can't touch the white meat. We have to eat the brown
Okay.
meat, you know? And there was a guy, I wish I kept the article. There was a guy, it was in the news. He,
Stop,
he
man.
brought he brought his lunch in a brown paper bag,
Uh-huh.
and he
Oh.
mentioned that he had his lunch in a brown paper bag. Well, he got kicked out of the university because he was a racist.
I heard that years ago that yeah, they were banning the brown paper bag because it was in reference to brown people. Like what?
Oh,
How did
it,
that be? I huh? Like there's so much racism I've never heard about before. Like wherever, like this stuff. It's like I laugh. Like wow, I've never looked at a brown paper bag and went and opened up and went damn Mexicans. Like what is that all about? Like how? Why are we here? Like it is
yeah.
a
If,
strange shit.
if
Yeah.
somebody says, I don't like Mexican food much, oh, racist, racist, and it's
Yeah.
just gotten sickening. But
Um,
I think we would understand and we would blend in more if we did heavy drugs. Then we'd understand. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Brown paper bag, you know.
well, uh, it, look, I would say that, I stayed heavily medicated, probably a little too long when I was, in the 90s, and then eventually weaned myself off of that road, thank God. But look, I get it, I mean, I tell people all the time, like, look, man, I understand. You want to have a drink, whatever. I was like, this stuff is not easy to ingest. It really isn't. And the reason I brought up the "Are we too awake?" As Fizzy mentions that I'm jaded. No, I'm not jaded. I'm not jaded. I'm just saying, like at some point you get to a point in your world where, like you can see the script playing out, like from day one
Yeah,
of from day one on my brain. You can go back and listen. I was like, all right, this is a bunch of bullshit from the get-go. However, I was like, let's take a wait and see approach, see how this thing really plays out. But I'm telling you, I said all those videos coming out of China look fake. I like a lot of them just look manufactured. I see this
mm,
manufacturing. I can't watch a news broadcast without pointing out the green screen. Oh, we're here on location.
yeah,
We're here
yeah,
on vacation. I'm by the beach. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're behind a green screen or you're in front of a green screen with a fan blowing on you, lady. Like you're
yeah.
not at the beach. And it's just like, I can see it. But most people, until I point it out, don't even realize it. Like there's so much fakery, so much just crap, man. Like, oh, he's in studio. No, he's not. I mean, it's nuts, man. So like when you get to that point where like you can kind of see the matrix, it's not a good feeling all the time. Like
Mm,
sometimes you just, man, you're like, how do I dumb myself back down to have a little, like, I don't know, fun, to feel like I'm a part, connected. But then you have to ask yourself, Rich, okay, so we're at this point now where we're okay, we're woke, okay, we see it. What do we do with it? I mean, how do we,
yeah.
how do, I know you talk about this a lot. I think I feel this in your videos when I watch your videos, that I wouldn't call it stress or anger. It's more like just, being sort of like, I don't know, obtuse about it. You're just like, this, this is so jacked up. I'm around a bunch of people who can't see that don't experience the world the way I'm experiencing it. How do I interact with these people when you can't even talk on the levels you need to talk? You literally have to dumb yourself down
Oh
and
yeah,
keep
yeah,
the water cooler talk. Like, man, did you watch the baseball game last night? Man, that
yeah,
was, that kind of stuff. You can't talk any real sense to people. You can't go on those levels. You can't go to church and talk real, some, you would think like, oh, these are people that are, hey, they read the Bible. There's all kinds of pretty, crazy stuff that happens in that book. Surely they'll be, open to some of my crazy. Oh no, they won't. Oh no, they won't.
no, no. You notice
Oh,
that you notice though that the churches that when I grew up, it was all about Jesus. Now it's all about Israel and sending money to Israel,
you mentioned,
and going like
uh,
what's wrong with that picture?
uh,
Like
yeah, yeah, it's always been a little weird. I've never understood that whole thing. Like, I used to get in arguments with um my Christian friends all the time about that. Like, really? Not that I was, look, I get it, whatever. I mean, you know, look, I don't think what Israel's doing to their neighbors is very nice. Okay.
no,
I don't
no,
think that they're doing it. Palestinians is a good thing. I think that they've done some horrendous things that the world's not really making them own up to. They sort of turn a
oh
blind
yeah,
eye to that atrocity. I'm not happy with Zionism at all. And it's funny because I'll see a lot of there's different sects of Jewish people out there that actually protest against Israel.
yeah. Those would be the Orthodox.
The Orthodox, yeah, they're really not happy with Israel. They're in
Well,
New
they
York, but
see
never,
they're kind of like ordinary people, like ordinary Italians that are suddenly aware of the mafia and say, "Well, we're not part of that," and they aren't. It's a whole
yeah.
different belief system.
Oh, I've
But
heard some
yeah,
good speeches from those
mhm.
guys. Yeah, talking some sense. I mean, at least biblically, they're like, hey, we shouldn't have our own state. Biblically, it says that we should be humble servants in other countries until
but
God
it
reaches.
it,
That's
it,
their,
it said
that's
their
the little
Torah says that yeah that God Himself would bring them into the land, not
yeah.
Rothschilds.
Mm,
So it's just it goes nowhere. I mean, they tried to
mm,
make it look, and now they're trying to build the third temple to make it look like the Messiah is going to come now and all that. And they really well,
mm.
these are the Babylonian Jews. They're the Judeans, right? Against the Orthodox. The Orthodox they're pretty actually. They're pretty cool in their beliefs. Very simple, very straightforward, easy to understand. But the Judeans have got all these laws, rules, regulations. So it's the Zionists and the Pharisees that want
Mhm.
to really exterminate the Hebrew root. You know?
Is that kind of what was going down in World War II? Was it sort of a cleansing, more of a cleansing of uh, ideologies with because I've always heard, of course, Hitler having the Jewish roots, being half or whatever, and then some of his people also were Jewish. But then you always hear about, well, they were basically trying to kill off more of the Sephardic Jews or something. You know, like it was like a Jew on Jew crime sort of thing going on.
Well, with his enemies wasn't the Jews. His enemies were the Jewish communists. You know, and it was
Stalinist.
Jews created communism and enforced it on the world. They started off with the extermination of 10 million white Russians. So then Russia became the Soviet Union. That
That's
was
kind
all
of
Jewish Bolsheviks.
Jewish Bolsheviks. Yeah, you know, it's weird. That's history we don't really learn about.
Oh no,
It's just
it's forbidden knowledge. You're not allowed
yeah,
to, you know.
yeah, I've heard
Don't
about
go
that.
there, Johnny, or you're going to the principal's office. Okay.
Oh
But no,
yeah. Well,
if you go to there's what's it
mhm.
called now? www dot the greatest story never told dot TV. You'll get your mind blown right off. I mean, the lies and the manipulation, then everything we know about the war comes from history books, which originate from the Masons. And all the media is controlled. That's documented over and over again by the Jews. And they're going to tell you the truth about Hitler and the war and stuff. They had to demonize him. And that's what they did. They absolutely demonized him. Ridiculous story. Like every time you'd mention a Jew, Hitler would dive to the rug and he'd chew on the rug and he'd go, "Arr, arr." You know, like we're supposed
You know
to
what?
believe that.
I look, man. Here's the thing. I am my own person. I don't want to just believe what. Well, I don't want to believe what they've told me about the war. I want to listen for myself. I want to make just a judgment on a judgment call on some of this stuff. Now, what I find really weird is like, so I would see a speech and they say, here's the whatever, the first Antichrist. Here's Hitler, and he'd be up there and he'd be like, wow, 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 you know, doing his shit, right? And his hair's all flipping up and all crazy. And you're like, damn, that guy's pissed. You know, I don't know what he's talking in German, but he is pissed. And you're thinking, this guy's crazy. He probably did murder all these people. This guy's a madman. But then, like, I would just listen to the speech once it was translated.
Yeah.
It wasn't about Jews.
Different.
It was like, it was about like the bankers and like I'm like this guy sounds like a pissed off Ron Paul, like everything Ron Paul used to talk about. You know what I mean? Like on that level. I mean, it's not far. I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm gonna go listen for yourself. I mean, the dude was like during those speeches was talking about like globalism and like probably this conspiracy to take over the world through the banking system. Like what? Like that's the shit I believe. Wait a minute. Like, or at least stuff I've heard. I don't know if I know, whatever. They probably already have done it, but that's the stuff I at least, listen to. Shit, I was trying to get Ron Paul to be president back when I believed in politics, and then last stint in that, I was like, yeah, Ron Paul, man, this guy's on to something. He's right. Yeah, man. And that Fed, let's do this. But yeah, dude, it's just weird. I mean, so like, look, I'm not saying, look, the victor writes history. I'm not trying to get into that topic. Like, oh, Hitler was an angel. So, you know what? I don't know because, a lot of atrocity happens in war. I don't think there's any, who knows what happened and what was going on. But I'll tell you this. It does seem strange. And I don't know if there's any truth to any of that because I know I watched that that show, that the movie that Eric Dubay put out. Remember that a few years ago?
Oh, I never saw that. No.
You never saw that? Oh man. I don't know if how much truth was in that movie or not, but like he talked about there's some, I don't know, I'm going to tell you, it was presented as factual, okay? But it looked to me like, hold on a minute. First off, there is a Mandela effect regarding Hitler. His name changed. Adolf has changed. And his mustache looks different. In my world, had more of a square mustache,
Yeah,
really
yeah,
square. Yeah, you remember that square little
yeah,
mustache? Yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh. And people had brown eyes.
yeah.
Brown
I could
eyes.
never figure out if he had blue or brown because all the pictures are
Oh,
different.
right. Well, I was always told he had brown eyes, and that was weird. And so then I was looking at like his mustache. Well, people noticed like his mustache is weird. Here's a picture of Hitler. Hold on. Adolf Hitler. Let me see here. Show you the stash. Look at this weird stash he's got. Like he looks a bit different. Look how thick it is and bushy.
Mm.
A big bushy one. Like most people remember it being more. I don't know. Just something about it. It just seems off. Now his eyes here appear to be kind of a darker, like maybe a light brown, maybe even something like that. But I was always told in school that, dude had brown eyes and brown hair, and he wanted this white race, blonde hair and blue eyed people, the master race, and all
Mm.
this other stuff. Well, then you turn out and you find out, well, no, man, dude had blue eyes. Huh? Like, wait,
Yeah,
that's a Mandela effect for me. I think I'm calling that one Mandela. So yeah, a lot of strange history regarding this dude, and then you find out with the Dubé movie that you're like, apparently the dude brokered for peace. Like he tried to stop the war. He said, "I will disarm. I will look. I'll
yeah,
remove my. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. Well, we won't. We don't want to fight anybody. We want, let's have peace. Okay. I won't attack anybody. Nothing. He brokered for peace, and apparently they were like, "Nah, we're gonna fight you." So he's like, "Fine, you'll get your war."
yeah.
And
Churchill said that they were gonna get a war whether he liked it or not.
whether he liked it or not. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's kind of weird now, because I always thought that he was the evil aggressor, at least, and this is some sort of alternative or revisionist history that I hear about sometimes. It's weird, man. It's just, and it's so funny because they got us so programmed that even going to this side of stuff, this truth,
mm.
feels weird. Like it feels weird to be like, okay, look, I'm not trying to say Hill was a good guy or bad guy. I'm just trying to figure out the truth, whatever it may be, let the chips fall where they may. I'm just saying, like, whenever you go here, they've programmed that into us to believe that if you go here, man, you hate Jewish people. You are,
I
like
know they
what?
always blow it
You're a
up. Eh?
Nazi, like whatever. Yeah, it's nutty, man. You can't ever,
Brown
God
paper
forbid,
bag.
you're a brown paper bag loving, dark
Yeah,
meat eating, yeah, Nazi. That's what you are, Dan. Yeah. So
which
that's what you
which
gotta
that
deal
which
with.
they weren't called that. They were the National Socialists. Nazi is
Oh,
a slang for pretty much nutcase. That's what it means.
well, I always thought it meant Ashkenazi, but
Yeah,
it's
but
kind of funny.
he
Yeah.
had Louis Rothschild when he took over France. He had Louis Rothschild arrested, and they stripped him of his wealth.
Right.
So
Huh.
he wasn't kissing up to the. Well, I wouldn't call them Jews. I'd say they were the Zionists, the Pharisees, the Babylonian Jews. They're bad. They're but it's like like Italians. You have Italians, and then you have the mafia, but not all the Italians are mafia. You
Right.
know.
Only the
So,
Sicilian.
yeah. So the Jews. Yeah, the Jews are just you know they have their own mafia called Pharisees or Zionists that have
Hmm.
taken over that hate them, and they're always used as an scapegoat. But they're real. Germany was in real rough shape because of the Jewish bankers. They just broke Germany in half and destroyed the system and created inflation and everything. So the Jewish bankers is what his enemies were. It wasn't the little old granny down the street making bagels, and lox.
Hmm.
It
Well,
was. organized mafia, Jews.
I don't know. Again,
Communism.
check the facts on this, but like Germany was sort of like America is now. They were the
Yeah.
leader in suicide, pornography, all kinds of
Oh yeah,
drug.
yeah. When you see them burning the books, how evil! Look at them; they're so evil. They were burning Jewish pornography, Jewish
Uh-huh.
ideology of communism,
Oh, okay.
demoralized books.
Right. Right.
And then Hitler was the one who sent Marlene Dietrich on the boat to America. She
Well,
was
we
just
don't have it in book form anymore. We have it in digital form. So instead
yeah.
of burning, you can burn DVDs. You can take your whole Disney collection and start a fire. I mean,
Yeah.
like, why does people still support Disney after what we've all found out about them? Like, really? Just why? Don't give them any of your money. Screw Disney. Like,
Oh,
and then, it's like Netflix comes up with a new show now, like promoting, like,
pedophilia.
a woman's right to grow and all this, it's called Cuties. It's about an 11-year-old that wants to, become a twerk dancer. Oh,
Yeah.
how great for the family to watch, little girl that rebels against her Muslim faith. Okay, to what? Apparently there's even a scene where she takes a picture of her twat on her father's phone.
Oh.
Like, this is what people are watching now, and Netflix says, "Oh, it's okay. This is kind of immoral world we live." So if they were burning, a bunch of smut and crap and books like that on communism and stuff like that, well, it's really interesting to me because I feel like burning some stuff too.
Yeah.
I don't. You know what? I mean, there's a lot of crap out there that's been implemented into our world, and I'd burn the smut as well. And of course, you have to consider, like, man, where we're going. I mean, like, it kind of reminds me of that. You remember that interview? I've talked about this on my broadcast. That Russian dude, that defector dude, who's like talking about how you subvert a country from within.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Remember Igor?
yeah,
I think it's Igor something.
yeah.
Lenionov or whatever. Anyway, he's talking. I'm making that up. I have no idea his name right now. But that dude, it's so funny to go back and listen to this older stuff. It comes back around every once in a while. Somebody put on a video or something, and you'll listen to it. Go, oh, I remember listening to that years ago. Wait a minute, holy shit! That dude was spot on about the way our world is changing, the way the mindset's changing, the way we've demoralized ourselves. We've just It's terrible right now what's happened to us. And I feel like a lot of the things that happened to Germany at that time period is happening to America right now. Right now.
Germany was they destroyed the economy. They blamed in World War One Germany for starting the war, which is not true. And then they had the Versailles Treaty, where other nations could come in and take all their goods and wealth whenever they wanted to. and
Wow.
and, and then and then they were into hyperinflation. People were starved to death, so where would they turn to? They turned to drugs, prostitution, and Germany became the new Babylon of the world. Well, the first
Right.
thing Hitler did was he cleaned that all up. And the
Mm-hmm.
Nazis helped people build churches. You don't hear about that, but they assisted. They had the full blessing of Hitler for building churches and rebuilding Germany. And then they had the El Dorado, which was the transsexual gay community center of Germany. And Hitler
Mm-hmm.
kicked them out and put his headquarters there. I mean,
Huh.
he
Yeah.
was
Oh,
a
weird.
very moral man. He made a declaration. You cannot
Here.
have anything to do with our party
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
against Christianity. You
Hmm.
know, and
Hmm.
all that is hidden from us. And then we get Schindler's List. I know all about that dirty rat. I saw that movie 6 times, and Hitler was an evil man.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Go talk to the cows because they really want to listen.
I'll tell you what, man. Yeah, there's so much like I said, history is sort of written by the victor. I'm not. I'm sure. Like, it's weird because I'd watch those. Remember when those? It was weird, like World War II in color, and they found all these like home movies of Hitler, and it was odd, right? So here's Hitler, evil Hitler, just like just very calm,
Yeah.
like a regular guy, just happy. I mean, he was the Times Man of the Year, right? Recipient, or at least
Yeah,
nominated.
yeah,
Uh,
he was
no, so
nominated.
obviously he was doing something. He was doing something right. I mean,
He was
people were
the greatest peacemaker ever in his time. He
how
tried
weird.
to make peace all the time. Poland, he sent 7 peace plans that were all denied by Poland. And all
So he had,
Poland did, you know what Poland did? Exterminated Germans, leave their
yeah,
bodies out in the street to be
yeah.
run
I
over.
heard that there was like like a mass murders of Germans in
Yeah.
Poland. Like I heard
And
it
then
was really
Hitler gave
thing.
7 times Hitler tried to have a peace treaty with them. And then the leader was a real snot because he had Britain behind him. Britain would protect him. And why would Britain go to war to protect a small, insignificant country like Poland and have millions of people dead? You know,
Hmm.
they're the ones that started it.
Well,
The
it's like,
England.
do you remember in the 80s? It's the same bullshit. Like, this is what I'm trying to get people to understand is open your minds, people. Okay, for a second. Just for a second. Just stop believing what you've always heard. Well, pretty much ever. You have to like literally look at history in a new way and just sift through it all, because there's some things that just don't add up. All right. I'm not saying everything about World War II was right or wrong. I'm just saying, like, there's some missing pieces here we're not getting. Also, too, what about what we were told in the United States? Here's an example. I remember growing up, and I remember the evil Russians were attacking this poor, innocent country of Afghanistan, and they were like, we heard about them, dropping chemical weapons on them. We heard about all this stuff, like Russia was doing, what the hell? Why would Russia attack poor little Afghanistan? So, of course, America backed the Afghans, right? This eventually led to the Mujahideen, and, basically led to the creation of Al Qaeda, which eventually led to 9/11, all because of our intervention in Afghanistan, training
Mm,
Osama bin Laden. Remember the story, right? But then
yeah,
you find out later that, wait a minute, Russia went in there to take care of Afghanistan because the outer provinces of Russia were being completely riddled with heroin usage from Afghanistan. They wanted to go in there and get rid of those
yeah.
poppy fields. Well, guess who went in there to protect the poppy? We did.
Mm,
It was a drug war. It's like, dude, it was more than just it. They didn't want there was nothing there. Like, I can understand, like, why would they want to take Afghan? There's nothing. I mean, Afghanistan is a very rugged place.
yeah,
Okay. And at the time they weren't like looking for natural resources or whatever. It's funny how the story comes out like, oh, we found lithium in Afghanistan. That must be why we attacked. No, it's all about the drugs, man. It's a way to produce more of the opium. They want to
yeah,
control the opium production. That's why drug use and heroin use went up tenfold after we got in there. We
yeah.
streamlined. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. That's our history. We're told one thing, but then you find out later it's not necessarily true.
It's
You
all
know,
manufactured.
yeah, you
Mm.
don't know it. You don't hear Russian news. We don't get to see the atrocities that are happening over there.
Do, do,
Jeez.
do you remember a fellow named Ernst? What was his name? Ernst Zungel? No, Ernst. Anyways, he questioned the Holocaust, and he had to go to court. Uh,
Mhm.
I forget Ernst Zung. I can't catch it. Anyways, they went to court and everything, and they threw everything at him that they could, and they failed to prove that the Holocaust happened. They lost the case. Ernst Zunder, Zundel, yeah, Ernst
Who
Zundel.
was, who was that? Tell us about the kid who went around And remember the Jewish kid that was like, "What the hell?" And he got death threatened and
Oh,
all.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, what happened to him?
He sort of laid low because it was getting too wild. He got beat up a couple of times, really bad, near death kind of thing. I think his name was David Cole.
David Cole. Yeah, I remember David. I mean, he was the first time I saw anybody on YouTube questioning things. He was a Jewish kid, and he was like,
Yeah,
"This makes no sense." He's like, "Wait a minute, what?" And I remember him going around, and he went to the concentration camps, and he's like, "Okay, this is we're here at whatever, which one it was. I don't know, Auschwitz, maybe one of them." He's like, "Okay, this is where they supposedly gassed all these people." He goes, "Explain to me why the door locks from the inside."
yeah,
Huh? Like, this makes
yeah.
no, you know, he just pointed out all these weird, like, why
Common
does
sense.
why does this place have a huge, like, Olympic sized swimming pool for people you're
Yeah.
gonna kill? Why is there tennis courts? Why are there, like, he pointed out all this weird stuff that made you go, well, okay, that doesn't sound legit. Yeah, I don't think, and I kept thinking, I've talked on this, like, man, it's like, I'm sorry, but there's like way more Jewish people there supposedly than there were guards. And if they had wind, if you knew, like, hey, pretty soon they're gonna
Yeah.
come, it would start getting, word would get around that people are being taken. Yeah, you just can't go. Look, you just can't do it. I mean, if you started mass murder, word would get around the camp. People would fight back, and then we're told by Alex Jones, well, they gave him all the floor. They gave him fluoride, and it made him docile.
Uh,
It was fluoride that did it. That's why you should never, really. I don't know. Is that true or not? That's
well, when you give cyanide to these
the
people, they
yeah.
all go very, very pink. They go this incredible pink color. There's no pictures of that at all. One person being totally discolored from the cyanide. It was
Yeah.
all disproven. They went to this Ernst Zundel court session, and they had an
Hmm.
expert. Oh, I forget his name. And the expert was the leading expert of America, and he said, "No, there's no such cremation. What they were doing was cremating the, not cremation, gassing. They were gassing the clothes because it was the worst typhus outbreak ever in
Yeah.
history, 400 years, and the typhus, had to be snuffed out by Zyklon B. They'd hang up all the
Right.
clothes. That's why you see all these clothes, eh? And they're saying,
Yeah.
see, they were stripped naked and they were put in ovens, and they couldn't afford to do that. They had no resources whatsoever. And then the Allies were bombing the train routes that brought them food and everything. So they were responsible for killing and starvation of the prisoners there. And then
Right.
the prisoners, I mean, they were all skinny and everything, but that was because there was shortages of everything because the Allies were sealing their fate. Eh? Eisenhower exterminated 1 million German surrenderers, prisoners, right? Let them
Hmm.
starve to death in a field. And then after the war, this is a bone of contention with me. After the war, 14 million German women, children, innocent men were all put on cattle trains by Stalin and shipped to the
Yeah.
gulags, and
Right.
14 million people died. But nobody says anything about that, but they sure cry about the imaginary 6 million. They cry, give us money, give us lots of money, because we're upset. And you gotta repay us for what you did to us and all that. What about them and the 14 million innocent Germans? I mean,
Right.
there's a lot of really good document books, but the best book is The Bad War by Mike King. Wow, that blew me away. That I was awoke that moment. That is a wonderful book.
So
He, he's got, it's all pictures, all documentation, everything, and it just
I'm
shows you
gonna
what a sham it was.
Well, we're told that like technically it was everyone was killed, not just Jews. But the thing I have a problem with is math. Okay, I just do the math. The math doesn't
Yeah,
make sense. I'm gonna tell you why. The math is weird because if you look at the math, you're telling me that they killed 4,166 people per day in these death
yeah,
camps. Now you're
yeah.
telling me for 4 straight years that's never taken Christmas off, that's never taken a holiday off to eat bratwurst, none of that stuff. While a war is going on, by the way, a world war, they were able to massacre 4,166 people per day. This is just by the 6 million number. This doesn't include the gypsies, the Catholics, the fags, and everybody else that they wanted to kill. Okay. Because remember, you got to lump those in too. And that, who knows how many millions of others there are. There's the 6 million and there's other. So this is just going by six. We're looking at 4,166 per day. I don't
Wow.
know. Call me
That's
crazy. Call me maybe, but that seems like a lot of people to dispose of everything. You miss one day, that's another 4,000 people you got to take care of. Like, how do you get rid of that many people? Where do you bury them? I mean, you can't. That's
where
insane.
are the ashes? Where are the bones?
Where,
Anything? Prove it,
where any dude? Give me a break. There's no. I just don't think that you can get rid of that many people. 4,000 people per day have to die in camps. That's
Those
that's
those
insane.
ovens were high maintenance. So you burn a body, then you'd have to be cleaned right out, have to be repaired. They were always under repair. And
Yeah.
Germany didn't have the resources. They didn't have the
No.
luxury of all that fuel, you know.
No. 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 And
The
that's why
bullet.
I always say, like, at the end of the war, when you see, like, first off, they probably weren't able to keep up with the disease and things like that in the camps. Most of their troops and stuff were of course moved to the front lines. Most of the food and everything was meant to feed the frontline troops. So the rest of the country was just slowly starving, including the camps. So when you got
Mm,
there, yeah, people were skinny and malnourished. Hell yeah, because there was no food. There was nothing for probably months, hardly
yeah, no
anything. Oh,
water,
no,
no
oh man,
medicine.
that'd be terrible. Yeah, and the point is like, look, anytime you displace that many people, it's going to be an atrocity no matter what. Okay, people are going
Yeah.
to die. Innocent life will be hurt for sure. There's a lot of terrible things that go on when you do something like this on that magnitude, for sure. However, I'm just saying, man, like, a lot of that stuff we see the aftermath of it. We don't really see why it happened or why it transpired that way. And then we're always told,
Mm,
well, this is what they did to him. Look how skinny. And you look at it, you're like, holy shit, that's awful. Like nobody should ever go through that. Like, oh my God, that's war and everything is just terrible. But there is reasons why this stuff happened. It's like, well, I mean, it wouldn't have happened so bad if they hadn't. You find out some things that happened in that war were just terrible. I always was brought up to believe like, America was so good in that war, and we fought it was a good war, the good war.
no,
No, not really. No, because you find out later that we targeted, we targeted their farmers and things like that. We bombed, not bombed. We sent planes in to just like machine gun them. There you go. You're on a tractor. Harvesting that field. No, you ain't. Nope. Sorry, Gunther. You got to die. I like that's pretty rough. When you start going after a food supply of a nation. But they
well,
were that.
that's what Stalin and Lenin did. Is the Ukraine? They they took all the food away from them, and they starved to
Mhm.
death.
Oh,
In 1 year there was 7 million dead from starvation, and you were not allowed to. Oh, and then there was the purge, during the time when they got rid of the 10 million white Russians. Stalin put out an order 8 to 80. That was
mhm.
the age of any female that they would come across that they would rape to death.
Nice.
So if you were 8 years old, you'd be raped to death. and a lot of them just went absolutely mentally insane. And I mean, when
Yeah.
I discovered what the communists did to people, it was the
Mm,
most horrific thing I'd have ever heard in my entire life. Just unbelievable stories. And there is one documented story that I always talk about because I think is really horrible. Is they rounded up German women with their kids, go to a graveyard and say, dig up this corpse or I'll blow your kid's head off. So they dig it up. Then they were ordered to have sex with the corpses for the
oh,
entertainment
come
of
on.
the soldiers, and to
Oh,
give them oral sex too. Oral sex too. You know what that does to a little kid's mind for the rest of their lives? I mean, this is the most
geez.
hideous thing I can think of.
Is this
But
documented stuff?
and then Look magazine or
I've never. Oh,
Life magazine referred to him as Uncle Stalin, our friend. Well,
uh-huh.
Patton said, no, we now that the war's over, we got to make some kind of alliance with the Germans and go get those communists, go for Russia. Well,
Good
Eisenhower didn't
line.
like that, and he ended up dead. You know,
Yeah, he
but
did. He died seriously, didn't he?
but there was a little fender bender, and he went to the hospital for some boo
What you're
boos.
saying right now about that, is there where have you read that? God, that's awful.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
uh, there's a book I have that I had to
I've not
stop
heard about all
halfway.
the atrocities. That's one just like I wasn't prepared for that. Good God, man. Oh,
And they didn't kill the Russians. They tortured them to death. And their favorite was to make an incision, pull out a bit of intestine, tie it on a tree, and get the guy to run around the tree until it ran out.
oh,
That was
oh,
one
come
of the famous ones. I
on,
got the
kidding
book
me.
here. I had to stop reading it. I couldn't finish it. It's
I couldn't finish. It's just too much. That's
the
just wow.
the myth
Oh,
of German villainy. The Myth of German Villainy
who
by
wrote that book? Who wrote it?
Benton L. Bradbury. And the stuff in here is it's unbelievable. It's just, my head would just spin.
When was that book published?
I couldn't finish it.
When was that book published? It must have been in the 60s or something.
I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it has a date. Yeah, check that. Just one sec. Is there a date on the inside of the cover?
Oh,
Copyright.
huh. Yeah, I was just
Then
curious. Like, oh,
there's
no way
another
that thing's been published.
documentary.
Yeah, there's
There's
no way.
another documentary that I can't watch. It was so
Yeah,
horrific. It's
really.
a
Yeah.
video. It's called something hell something or
Huh.
it's
Yeah.
documenting the atrocities. What's the date?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
try.
It's weird. Yeah, we were spared all of that growing up in America. We were always taught, oh, it was just the good old boys going over there, and you
Oh,
know,
it's a
um,
2012 book. 2012 book.
it's a
Because all these
2012.
Here's the one I really got to pitch to you because this is just recent knowledge of new documents they found. But America was funneling money to Stalin, big time Wall Street money, and Stalin had created a force of tanks and weapons unprecedented ever in history, lined all the way around the border of Russia. And what was going to go down was that he was going to invade Europe and exterminate every non-Jew. Exterminate. So France, Spain, Germany, and all that would all be under Russian genocide. But now the generals of Hitler's staff approached him and said, "Well, this guy's going to genocide all Europe." Hitler just went, "No way, no way, get out of here!" And then he said, "If you can bring me some proof of this, we'll look at it." So they brought him the proof, and it was Operation Ice or something. I forget. Anyways, they were going to exterminate basically all white people from Europe. That's been the goal of them forever and ever. And what did Hitler do? He launched
Yeah, that's
Operation
right. He
Barbarossa.
attacked Russia. Yeah.
Yeah, and they almost won. Yeah, except this strange weather pattern moved in. They were expecting the warmest weather on record. All the
Hmm.
experts and everything say, "Oh no, it's going to be smooth sailing." And they control the weather. We all know how they can control the weather. They must have had it back then because I just destroyed Germany and protected Russia.
Interesting. You think they might have had weather controlling technology way back
Well,
then?
look at
Hmm.
Waterloo and this strange fog that just came out of nowhere on a clear, sunny day. I mean, you
Hmm.
have to kind of do a Spock with the eyebrow,
Hmm.
fascinating.
Interesting. Weird. I never thought about it like that. That's some interesting stories, man.
Oh, the greatest wars ever fought came out wrong. He didn't want these guys to win because of strange weather patterns. You know.
Yeah, I think it wasn't there a one I can remember one growing up. I remember when oddly enough the Spanish fleet was going to, like the Armada had gone to sail to England to attack the British,
Mm.
right? They were going to attack the British Navy, and this incredible. At the time, the Spanish Armada was, Spanish had the greatest navy on Earth, and maybe I'm thinking correctly. I think it was Spanish attacking, yeah, Britain. And if I'm not mistaken, when they got there, there was this crazy storm
Yeah.
that destroyed a lot of the ships and messed it all up. Apparently, if I remember that story correctly.
How
And
convenient, eh?
how convenient, yeah. Well, how strange. You know what's weird? Let me show you something. Now we're talking about this. I got Mandela to bring up. Let me just show you on screen something really interesting. Okay. This is something I found out. You remember Hurricane Harvey a few years ago? The one that just sat
Uh,
over Texas? I don't know if you remember that
yeah,
one.
vaguely.
Okay. So this is something my audience knows. I talk about this all the time. They're probably like, oh, there goes Dan again talking about his Texas and his coastline. I know. I know. So anyway, let me get down to it. All right, let me just show you this weird thing. So Hurricane Harvey, and I'll draw it out for you. And like I said, this isn't. I'm not quite sure where it is, but right here. Let me show it to you on screen. Share screen here. Okay. All right. So Hurricane Harvey, came into the Gulf of Mexico, and I think it ended up coming ashore somewhere around well, Mike came around Matagorda Bay, somewhere over here. But then it went inland, then it went back out, and then went back in.
What?
Then it went back out. Yeah, yeah. This hurricane, it like went inland, out, in, out, and then it like went over here. Now I've heard of
Yeah.
Galveston Bay. You see Galveston Bay? Here's Galveston. And let me tell you a Mandela fact. This whole body of water did not exist. Okay.
What?
Now,
Holy,
guess where Hurricane Harvey sat? In
where?
churn, right here. For 3 straight days, it just sat there and churned,
Yeah.
churned, and churned. And after it was
Wow.
gone, I looked at the map, and guess why? Now, tell me why would you have Galveston Bay and Trinity Bay and being the same body of water? Why?
Mm,
It's the
I
same
don't
body of
know.
water. Actually, now they have East Bay. They have 3 names of a bay in here. Isn't that a little
Uh,
weird? Now, here's something that's
yeah.
even stranger. You know what an atoll is? You've heard of an island atoll. It's like a sunken island. Well, it
Yep.
left an emoji. Tell me, this is a not a man-made object. This is you're looking at something they say is natural. It's an atoll right here. This atoll left an emoji, essentially. Like, isn't that kind of weird? It's a rectangle. Actually, you know what it looks like? It looks like a cell phone.
What?
Check that out. It literally looks like this is what it looks like from the satellite image. Isn't that weird? It looks like a freaking cell phone. Like, I'm like, okay, that's okay. So this is getting a little bizarro, right? You're thinking, Dan, maybe you got to lay off the Mandela, bro. But the problem is that my whole life, I've studied Texas. I've lived in Texas practically my whole life. All right. I moved here from Hollywood, but I've been here since I was a kid. And I'll tell you one thing about Texans. They love their Texas history. They love them. Sometimes we learned all about the Alamo and, and about, all the Texas greats, yeah. All the wars, the Spanish American War we're involved in and all that kind of stuff. But you go in and you find out, this is going to blow you away. So over here at Trinity Bay, there just happens to be a monument now. Now, okay, let me show you. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Let me show you images of this thing. There just happens to be a monument in Texas called the San Jacinto Monument, and it's an obelisk. And people say, well, yeah, sure, why not? Texas. The problem is that the San Jacinto Monument isn't just any monument. It is the largest stone obelisk in the world. It's larger than the Washington Monument. Yeah, and it has its own reflection pool. Let's see, San Jacinto. There you go. There it is right here. Let me see here. We got a little video clip here, 15 minutes long. Let's see if there's any more pictures of it. Let me go back. Yeah, this thing is crazy, dude. And guess what? It was built in 1929. It's not something brand new. It's been here forever. And yet I've never heard of such a thing. This huge monument. Yeah, and like I'm like, okay, dude, there's no way. Like, this is, how you were saying buildings show up and people say, like, yeah. Well, this for me is crazy, dude. It's got this weird star on top. And I'm like, and we all know what this represents, right?
Yeah.
Right. And don't you find it funny that it's Trinity Bay? Of all the names, Trinity.
Oh, yeah.
Think about this for a second. And the fact that our monument, our stone penis, has a tickler on top.
Has a what on top?
A tickler. I'm just saying.
What's a tickler? What's a tickler?
That thing, that star, a tickler, at the of the, of the phallic symbol, sir. Poor star guy. He's like, what are you talking about? Never mind. Just humor me. Okay. But anyway, isn't that a crazy monument? That thing has been there, dude, since 1929.
You know what is weirder? Now,
what's that?
You're going to have people that remember building it. Right?
I know. Well,
artificial memories that it's like here on the corner there's a house that suddenly appears and I go, wait a minute, there was never a house there. But then there'll be people saying, yeah, when I was a young lad I worked on that house, we built that house in a week. All of a sudden they got artificial memories, just like the movie Dark City. They got all these artificial memories out of nowhere. So anything that comes into existence has to have a history.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why, like, when I was like tripping out about Brasilia, when I was like, okay, Dad, what is a capital of, because I always remember as, like Rio de Janeiro was a capital of Brazil.
Yeah.
Of course it's Rio de Janeiro. Of course. No, sorry. In 67, somewhere in there, apparently they went out to the jungle and just built a capital, built a new one called Brasilia. Yeah, Brazil's capital since 1963 has always been Brasilia, and I was like, what the hell is a Brasilia? Brasilia? So I'm like losing my shit right now. Go to my dad and I'm like, Dad, what's the capital of Brazil? And my dad's like, well, That would be Brasilia. It was a project built in 1967 by
Oh, yeah.
and like my dad starts like I'm like, whoa, time out. Time. Like, first off, my dad's never been like Mr. Facts. Like, yeah, my dad remembers stuff. I'm not saying his memory isn't solid. It's there. That's why I asked him. But before my dad to rattle off, like, I went to the wiki page and my dad like literally like recited the wiki page, bro. Like, I was like, oh, what is going on? I was like, this is weird. Okay. Like, so my dad like knew about all about Brasilia for some reason. Like, how did you know this stuff? Like, I had no idea. And I do that's what I do. I research. And I never heard of Brasilia. It was so weird. Anyway, dad knew about it. And he was like, oh yeah, it's been Brasilia. I'm like, no, dad, it was Rio. And you know, of course, it's the same one. You know, it's just like the big one for many of us with Australia. And what do you? Of course, you know, you know what the capital of Australia is. Come on, go ahead, just tell us.
Who? Me.
Go ahead, yeah, you can tell us. What is it? Yeah, what is it?
Oh, yeah, you just mentioned it.
Yeah, sure. It's I'll give you two choices: Sydney or Melbourne.
Brazil, yeah, that's for sure.
No, that's in Brazil. But what's Australia? It's Sydney or Melbourne?
Oh,
Which one?
Australia, at least. What would be the
Yeah,
Sydney?
Sydney. Of course, it's Sydney. Of course. Everyone knows. Yeah, you'd have to be crazy to think it's not Sydney, right?
Right.
No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, I'm wrong. You're wrong. Everybody's wrong. It's never been Sydney. It's Canberra, of course.
What?
Yeah, Canberra is the capital of Australia. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go out and commit myself.
Yeah, I know it gets crazy, dude. I'm telling you, like all these weird Mandela changes. Like, okay, when capitals change, and then here's the crazy part. Let me just share this with you. You've heard about the. Okay, you heard about the. You should look at some of this. You know, we talk about. You mentioned the buildings changing and shifting over. Okay. Wait till you see whole cities. Like, remember how a few years ago, everybody was like talking about how China was building these cities in the middle of nowhere, the completely built cities, right?
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah.
wow, they're getting ready for, you know, they're really, you know, like forward thinking Asians, you know, they're like, man, we're going to have a population explosion. So we better get ready. So look what they're doing. They're building cities for their populations, you know, and we all thought that it's like no big deal, except when cities like bigger than what China was building show up in Burma in the middle of the jungle. There is a city in Burma, their new capital. Okay. I think it's Nepal or something like that. Dude, you should see this place. It has, get this, 10-lane highways on one side and 10-lane highways on the other. It literally has an Autobahn. Nobody lives there. Who built the place? And they say, oh, there's 1 million people here. The hell there is. There ain't nobody. Dude, there ain't even cars. Why do you guys need a 20-lane highway? What the hell is going on here? And of course, then you go to what is it? Kazakhstan, which has Astana, which has changed to Nur Sultan now. Have you seen that place? Have you seen Astana? No. Oh, let me show you Astana. You're just gonna love this place. Oh, it's a fabulous place. Just chock full of Masonic motif. Let's take a gander, shall we? So you start off with the nice little, like, look at this. This is Astana. Yeah, because you're just actually it's kind of an anagram for Satan, but whatever. It's called Nur Sultan now. Yeah, and so you go here and you look, and it's got everything you need. You know, it's got all the Masonic symbol. Of course, the 2 pillars. Got to have your 2 pillars. No New World Order city isn't complete without 2 pillars. Golden. Oh yeah. Oh, and inside here, you know what they got? This place is great. So you go up to the top, and they got this like this thing of the world. Like all the religions have signed this thing, right? And it shows the world. It has everyone's like major. I don't know who they got for Christianity to sign, but whoever. They got somebody to sign. It's a major Christian player and a major Muslim player and a major Buddhist player. And they all sign this placard. And it's like everything, like is around, like it's a one world religion. And then they got this big giant hand that you can put your hand into, and they call that the hand of God. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's just like the creepiest place on earth. It's so great. And yeah, I'm sure like you can see all the foot traffic, you see all the people. Yeah, it's really, man, it's really tough to get around Astana. Apparently. Here's something else. Where have you seen one of these? That look familiar to you?
There's no image there.
Oh, you're not seeing the image. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Here you go.
There.
Yeah, there we go. Astana, the world's weirdest capital city. No shit. Um, let's see here. Let's look at some of these pics, shall we? Let's see. All right, so there's this. This is this tower I was talking about. This is the tower that you go up in, and you see all the world religions sign the placard, and of course, the hand of God, they call it, is up there. Big giant hand, by the way, much bigger than a normal human hand. Very interesting. You have a pyramid. There you go. You can't have a city without a pyramid. Then, of course, yeah, maybe this is like a new United Nations or something going on here. I don't know. There's that. Let's see here. Nope. A second. There is more to show. Where is it? Oh, weird. I can't get back to the other images. Where'd they go? All right, hold on. Oh, this one. This one right here. What about these? Are just some of the buildings they have there. Check this place out. This thing. Where have you seen that, Rich?
Jerusalem.
No. You know, that is totally reminiscent of the Denver airport.
Oh yeah.
See how it has that weird, yeah, that
Yeah.
strange. I don't know what these are, but they're very bizarre. Anyway, it's just a strange design. Also in Astana, did you know? I call it Astana. It's called Nur Sultan now. Okay, but it was Astana. They changed the name. Um, the thing is about this place, man, is they actually have, and here's another fact we found by just doing the research with the Mandela effect. Did you know that for some odd reason they have taken pieces of the World Trade Center, okay, and they're all around the world? That this place has a memorial to 9/11, okay, and actually has pieces from the World Trade Center, cut up beams and stuff like that, given to Astana. And then we found them in, dude, they're scattered all over the world. Why do you think that is?
Wow, that's real ritual stuff.
Isn't it really ritual? Doesn't it speak of ritual when you think of that? I thought it did. I mean, that's my first contention, was that this is a ritualistic thing, man. They're spreading that energy around the world, aren't they? That 9/11
Yeah.
energy. You gotta love it. Yeah, it's like,
Well,
why would Kazakhstan have 9/11 material? It's weird.
yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
think I have a feeling that in the beginning, the gods, like it says in the Bible, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, right? So the word God is actually gods. It's they did a little shuffle there, right? So it says
Mm.
in the beginning, God's created the heaven and the earth. So my feeling is that we used to that they'd have like the mafia. They have different factions. Different gods had different territories, right? And they would
Right.
develop their religions, and they'd get everybody to believe in them and everything. But I think once we populated the world and stuff, and we began to go technical, that they came down to the earth and made agreements with the governments, and they all became corporations, and that you can't separate the corporations from the government, right? So, and
Mm.
then they all work through the Masons. The Masons is like the cement that holds them all together. And I think I lost the point of my story here, but
Oh,
but
well,
that,
I was just
that
gonna, yeah, go ahead.
but there's no nations. I mean, there's no nations. It's all corporations, and these are extremely popular. So they got a lot of money that they can fool around with this stuff, eh?
Mhm.
So their rituals can be very, very major, like 9/11 and all that. Because they got all the power. I think they made a secret deal with the government, and then that's where we're getting the technology from. And anyways, the point
I
was
think,
lost.
well, I think your point, you brought up a point, and I would follow with the point that I've often said that it feels like something is obviously very strange here. People are doing things, and there are ritualistic things happening all around us all the time. And I think it's like it's tapping into, spiritual energy things that
Yeah,
we don't even understand very well. I think we see it on. It's like I don't even know if we have really the capacity to understand this spiritual stuff because we try to do our best to kind of decode it, but it just seems like it'd be like me trying to read and decipher Chinese. I wouldn't be able to do it. It's like I can tell you what Chinese looks like. I can see Chinese. I can explain it. Those letters look a little sinister. Just kidding, of
yeah,
course. But I'm saying something doesn't feel right. Like, I could be like maybe that with it. But the thing is like we see all this stuff and it's like, but they're doing things for some strange reasons, man. And I often wonder sometimes if we aren't living in some sort of M. Night Shyamalan's Village type situation. And I mean that like almost, you could take it how you want to take it, we're like they kind of keep us in the center, right? And out on the
mhm,
outskirts is a whole like maybe how would we know, Rich? How would
yeah,
you and I know if there is like an advanced civilization literally right next door? Maybe,
yeah,
maybe flat Earth or whatever is right. Maybe there is more land. Maybe this place and the idea that we've always been shown, like we're shown every day that this is where we live. This is your world right here. This part right here. How do we know it's not much bigger? How do we know the
yeah,
line isn't really afoot here? Because the thing is we don't know. I don't have. Do you have a plane that you can know? Do you know anybody that'll take you further or somewhere that they shouldn't? No. Do you have a boat that can get you way out there in somewhere and past, I don't know, Antarctica or past Australia even? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like
you'd
none of
be
us
arrested.
have well, that's what they say. So the point is that they put that out there to let you know, like, don't even try it, or you're gonna get messed up, man. We'll get you, you know. So the point is we don't know. So I always kind of wonder, it's like that movie because in that movie it was really easy to convince everybody they were living like in the 1600s or something. But I
Oh,
was
are
like,
you talking about the movie The Village?
yeah,
Yeah,
why
that
can't
was awesome.
I love the village? And then they create the idea, the fear that there's monsters out there.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, don't go. There's a huge ice wall. You won't build. I mean, you're just gonna run into an ice
yeah.
wall. Don't go. Don't go, kiddo. Don't try it.
Well, if
There's
they
nothing
can
to
control the
explore.
weather, they can control ice barriers,
Well, sure, but maybe there's. My point is how do we know? I mean, they say that. Well, you can book a trip, out there. Okay, I'm sure they'll take you out there, but
Yeah,
that's far to go to
to
kind of
yeah, yeah, they won't take you to the inner parts where things are happening.
right. Right. And I'm sure, I don't know, it'd probably be a 1 day trip. Like, okay, everybody get back on the plane. We got to go or the helicopter or whatever. You're not going to be able to chill out there for any length of time and scope things out. You know what I mean? It's not going to work that way. So my point is like, there's who knows what this world is all about. And it's funny how the globe image is everywhere. The idea, at
Oh
least
yeah.
the image of our world, the image of this is what you got. Okay. This is all you got. This is yours. And don't worry about us. We're just chilling out back here. I often wonder if that were the case because that would explain like why we see, who everybody thinks, oh, UFOs, they might be interdimensional. or they might be from another
Yeah, I
galaxy.
believe in the interdimensional
Could
theories.
be, or maybe they're right here with us in a more advanced society, living right around us, and we are there. This is like a petri dish for them.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
they treat.
We're
That's kind of what.
definitely a petri dish because all the
Yeah,
ancients talked about the dome over the
sure.
earth.
Okay.
So, but
Yeah,
but there's
I know you.
only two
Yeah.
conclusions that I've come to that come up as choices for me is this reality is either in our mind or it's one big holographic plate. So it's a big subject, and there's no way to prove anything. That's the problem. That's what drives me
Yeah.
nuts.
Well, that's the thing is like we're seeing all this sort of transpire, man. We definitely
But
need.
I do know this.
Hmm,
They
what's that?
put the truth out in movies and stuff because they have these karmatic laws of theirs that if they can tell you the truth, then their karma is not their bad karma is reduced somewhat. But they don't have to tell you the truth to your face. They can tell it to you through fictional stories and especially
Um,
science fiction. And I
well,
have learned just so much from movies that it's just incredible. Now they all of a sudden they're going on about the Earth is flat. That theme is in movies like The Signal
well,
and
jeez.
oh
Yeah.
Dark City is a must. That and They
Oh yeah,
Live is a must. You
yeah.
have to do that.
Oh, they live
But
is tough to watch though. That's so
it's
cheesy.
what?
But I mean, the message, the Dark City is. I mean, not Dark City, but the one you just said.
Oh, They
They
Live?
God, it's so cheesy. It just it's funny to me because like the way it's filmed. It's I mean it's pretty bad acting. I mean, it's hard to
Oh yeah,
watch.
yeah.
It's got
And
a
the
message,
fight
right?
scene that lasts forever.
Dude, how long did that fight scene last? Oh my god, it was like
Oh,
10
it
minutes.
felt like 10 minutes the first time
Oh my
like,
gosh, dude, it lasts forever, right? Like, holy
oh,
cow.
but
So
it's
funny.
very relevant because you have the human power elite, as they call it, that rule this world. It's all these humans that are in league with the aliens, and it's fully controlled. Every aspect of our existence is controlled, and like it was said by Juan, what's his name, Juan Carlos, that the Archons gave us their mind. We think we came up with all our culture and everything. We were guided and directed right from day one. This is like a Hollywood set. And another thing
Truman,
about the
like a Truman Show thing,
oh
like a
yeah,
Truman Show. Mm.
oh
I
yeah,
know. I've often wondered. I've often had all these thoughts. I've even thought like, man, you know what? I'm had enough of this shit. I'm going out to the country, and I'm just gonna have it out with these guys. I'm just gonna start, whatever, like flailing away, yelling like a madman, so nobody can hear me and arrest me. But basically, just go out there and just be like, I've had enough of this. Like you tell me, like reveal yourself,
yeah,
reveal,
no kidding.
right? I just want to yell at the sky and tell, like, I'm done. I want answers and see what
Yeah.
happens. And then
Oh, I've
part of
had
me,
lots of those.
and I've often been like, wait a minute, if I do that and they do answer, I'm gonna be screwed. I don't know if I'm ready for this. Like, okay, well, you asked for it, Dan. Ask and you shall receive. And then I'm standing there next to a 7-foot lizard, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
great.
I always feel like I'm becoming a Howard Beale,
Yeah.
network.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I'm
you
as
are.
mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. And then everybody around
Yeah.
you just goes
Yeah.
moo, moo, because they're just cattle.
Right. Yeah,
We're
the old Howard Beale skit. Yeah, I think you are the Howard Beale of YouTube. Honestly, I think you could be, man. We need a Howard Beale at this time, and this is a pivotal time. I think right now for everybody. I think you would be a perfect fit. But
well, my
yeah,
YouTube subscribers have been so kind with me. They let me
have
get away with anything.
oh, speaking of YouTube, I was gonna ask you, like, so you tried another platform, man. How'd that work out for you?
The other one is Huge TV. It's fantastic. It's got all the
No.
bells and whistles of YouTube, and you got
Uh-uh.
mail and everything, and I can
Well,
put up a video, have the video recorded, and have it up, and people watching it within about 5 or 6 minutes. I mean, it's just
Now, what is
it's
this called?
it's Utah Gun Registry .tv. So it's huge. Everybody says huge. It's I
Dude.
am so in love with it because they don't censor nothing. You know, it's all free. You know, free speech, which we don't have anymore.
Wow. Oh, who runs that site?
Well, like I said, Utah Gun Registry. I think it's no,
Utah
no
Gun
Utah
Registry.
Gun Exchange. Yeah, huge
Huh? They're
Utah
like,
Gun
they,
Exchange.
who would have thought? I would never have thought like that's where you go. Like, I was wondering because you went to another one that just didn't work out, right? Where'd you go before?
BitChute.
BitChute.
It would take
It's
like an hour to upload, and then that's maybe it's upload, maybe it's not, and you really got to baby it. And I just it's. Then I think they were censoring me. I had a couple of videos that would never upload ever, and so I
really.
wrote them, and they said, "Oh, well, what's your URL?" And I gave them the URL, and I never heard from them again. So I got out of there.
Oh, weird.
I wouldn't recommend it.
No, I know a few YouTubers that are like, I'm over here still clinging to the rim during the big flush, baby. Don't worry, I'm with you guys, I'm over here on YouTube. I'm trying to, I guess ride out this puppy as long as I can, but I'm always like thinking, well, where do I go if YouTube, they did nix me for 3 months on my channel for
Oh, yes.
the AI. I had an ad, I had a pop-up ad that happened like a year ago. Then so basically I was like, they're like, you have to take this video down. I'm like, why? So I go look at it. It's just like a podcast like ours. So imagine you and I'm showing like a YouTube video on my podcast right now. And imagine a ad comes up. I click away from the ad to watch the video, right? But I'm on YouTube, all right, and it's a YouTube ad. But apparently that company decided, they said, you gotta take down your whole video, not just remove the ad. They wanted my video removed because it popped up their ad during my broadcast. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm sharing YouTube ads on YouTube. Like, huh? Like that's insane. Like that's nuttiness. That's like, why would you even care? But anyway, whatever. I thought it was so dumb. I didn't believe it. I was like, surely my video won't get removed. I won't get nothing will happen. So I contacted YouTube and they assured me that everything would be all right. We'll give you more time. Just see if you can work it out with them and get it corrected. Okay. So I did. I reached out to them, called their number. Oh, sorry, we have a phone line, but we don't take calls here. What? Who has a phone number that doesn't take calls? Like this whole thing sounds shady as shit. Then I find out they're a company out of Israel.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's great.
Mm.
So then I'm like, I email them, no response, of course. Well, the date comes up and boom, video's gone, channel's gone. Our channel is not gone. The channel would not upload. I couldn't live stream for 3 months, dude. Yeah. And I'm like,
well,
this is
I've been at YouTube for going on almost 14 years, and I got 7,000 subs. That's it. Like, there
I
was.
know.
I saw what
Uh,
was it?
didn't you have
900
more?
subs disappear.
Yeah, I know what to say. You had more at one time. I remember you had more on your channel. Dude, I'm going backwards. Like, I don't get it, dude. This place is such a sham. Okay. I remember when I was getting subs, I remember I'm such a conspiracy theorist that I didn't even believe that my numbers were legit. I was like, who are you people that are subbing to my channel? I was like, who are you? Like that's how conspiratorial I am. I don't even believe myself. All right, so like I'm watching my numbers, dude, and I'm like, I'm looking. Every once in a while, I'll go to the YouTube page and be like, okay, let me click on this. Who are you? Because I would just see some weird random subscriber, and I go to their channel and it's locked down completely. Huh? Okay. And then I go to these channels that are locked down, and I started thinking, you know what YouTube's doing? And I think they do this for all channels, especially in the beginning. They pad you a little bit. If you start doing well, they start. I think they because people can buy subs for their channel.
Yeah.
People can buy subs, dude. And I thought, you know what? I wonder if YouTube doesn't pad people a little bit to keep them, interested in YouTube. It seems like a great tactic. After all, I mean, there's no point in making videos if I only get 13 views on a video. That's just lame. I don't want to I wouldn't want to do it. I'd be like, screw that. And I started thinking like I would have like 1 week, 1 month, I would have 1,000 new subs. Woohoo! Dude, I was like, man, I'm gonna be like the next PewDiePie. Watch me, baby. I was all stoked, dude. I was like, hell yeah, I'll make the YouTube. I was thinking like, yeah, I'll be like I'll be podcasting from a beach, baby. This will be the shit. I'm like, I'm gonna make money. This is gonna be awesome. And yeah, no, that didn't. So, but I'm looking at my account. I'm like, okay, so if I get 1,000 new subs, you know how like when you sub to a new channel, you're excited for that channel because you're like, oh, I want to watch more of this person because I subbed to him. Well, so every time I would do a podcast, it would be like the same numbers almost every time. Like weird.
Yeah.
Why? Like I just gained 1,000. There should be like a bunch of people in here. Like I should be talking to tons, but I wasn't. So that's weird to me. Anyway, I knew they were playing around with the numbers because I think they just want to keep people interested. But then, whatever. The whole YouTube thing is such a strange place. So so you're happy you call it UGER.TV?
UGE. It's hard to find because you have to use the whole name, like Utah Gun Exchange.tv. I think that's the
exchange. I'm gonna look this up. TV. And how did you come across this? How did you come across this? This is weird because
I just stumbled across it.
Really?
Or no, I think somebody recommended it to me, but I would I would promote it anytime, any day.
So you can get in here. Okay, so I'm looking at their site right now. Here it is right here. Let me pull it on screen for the viewing audience. Utah Gun Exchange. Man, I'm probably gonna get flagged for showing guns. All right. Anyway. Hey man, Second Amendment, baby. All right. So here it is, and you're saying you post. This doesn't look like a place to post videos.
Yeah, you see, there's an ad that comes up if you get the wrong,
Am I at the wrong place?
Yeah, I think so, because I've tried to get there and get an ad. But
I'm at UtahGunExchange.com.
Yeah, you have to spell out the whole thing. What an easy name to remember.
Jeez. No, I'm sorry. Has anybody? Okay. UtahGunExchange.tv. It's really hard to get to. Like, it's not coming up.
You can look it up on Google. It'll.
I did. I put Utah Gun Exchange. Oh wait. Hold on. .tv. Let me try it like that. All right, let me try that way.
Okay, try .com. Okay, here it is. I found it.
What is it?
Videos. UtahGunExchange.com. That's a tough one.
They need to get a new URL. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to tell them the business, but that's just ridiculous. Utah Gun Exchange. I mean, that's crazy. It should be like something easier.
Yeah, Utah Gun Exchange. Videos YouTubeGunExchange.com.
Oh, okay. Let's give that. Oh, there it is, and it's UGEtube.
Yeah.
All right, here it is, people. Let me show it to you what we got here. I found this interesting. We'll see what. Okay, so there it is. So their videos are right here, and you can upload stuff, comment on it.
So fast.
Really? UGEtube beta version. Okay,
In
but it
6
goes by
minutes, I
video.
can get something up.
That is the worst URL I have ever
I
seen in my life.
know.
Oh my god! But I guess it's part of the UtahGunExchange.com. It's just their video section. So if I was to go, where is it at here? Here it is. So I was to go here, category other. Where is it? Categories. Do they have videos? I'm just wondering how to get here from the main page. Is there a way to get here? I don't know. Welcome visitor. Yeah, you really can't get it from the main page. It looks like it's odd.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
bit complicated.
Well, man, it is complicated. I'm shocked you even found this place. And do people post other stuff? Oh, do they post like? Oh, they are posting stuff. Well, maybe they made it hard to get to, so that
Just
maybe
look,
it's like want to keep it on the down low. I don't know.
try adding a slash Stargods to the end. See, it'll
All
give you a
right.
good example.
Okay. Slash Stargods. He's not 404.
Yeah, this
I did. Hey, let me look it up this way. Stargods. Look it up that way. Let's see. Maybe you're there. Ah, there you are.
yeah.
I found you. Okay. So yours would be
See
slash
the layout.
Stargods.
Uh,
Yeah. Okay. Got some Jordan
see the
Maxwell.
layout. Good.
Oh, liked videos, playlist. Okay.
Yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles.
And
It's
works
got
good.
email.
Yeah.
And it's fast.
Wow.
The upload is amazing.
Really? UGEtube. All right, guys. Yeah. Broadcast freedom. I like that. No issues, huh? I want to let you. I want they'll like censor your videos or something, like if you play.
I've never had any problem with it. And you know me, I have really controversial subjects at times.
Yeah. I know you do. I know.
I never been bothered.
So you got plenty of videos up.
I mean,
wow. Interesting stuff. Yeah, I just saw this one. Rise Up, Slaves, Jordan Maxwell, Logic Dictates, No Moon Ladies, Dumb and Dumber. Yeah. Anyway, if you guys haven't checked out some of Stargods and stuff, you should look into it. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff, a lot of interesting information. And he does
in the info box on my YouTube ones has the link to this.
Oh, I see. Here, I'm gonna put it in my. I'm gonna copy this right now. I'll put it in here in case people want to check this place out. It might be a good place for others to have another resource.
Oh, you get you get a lot of respect here.
Do you?
Yeah, not like YouTube. Oh. BitChute. Oh, BitChute is awful.
Yeah, it's not rampant with those.
Sometimes it would take me about 2 or 3 days from BitChute to get something up.
Golly, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I never went to BitChute. I hear a lot of people are going, "Oh, I'm going to DLive," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not really." You know what? I'm sorry. That's the whole thing. Sound like I don't buy the whole PewDiePie story that he was so upset with YouTube. Oh, what? You're upset because you're getting only like what? You're not getting a cool million a year, a million every month. You're getting what? 800,000 instead. Boo hoo. Yeah. Poor PewDiePie. Oh yeah, YouTube's been so terrible to you. Yeah, that I need to create a site with, first the dude tattoos himself with all that Illuminati stuff, which was kind of strange. Like, why would you pick that shit? Of all the shit to tattoo on yourself, why? Okay, and he's already a conspiracy theorist, so you know damn well. And then he creates a site with an anagram. Why would it be DLive anyway? That's like devil as an anagram, right?
Yeah.
So it's for gaming. Why wouldn't it be GLive? Or something like that, or some other letter. It has to be DLive. Okay, fine. Then, then I go there, Rich. I'm telling you, I get there. I'm looking at this place, and the first thing I see all over the place is freaking like all this teaching kids how to, use cryptocurrency. It's a goddamn training. Excuse my French. It's a damn training site for the kids to get the youth indoctrinated into the whole crypto movement. That's what this whole thing was
Weird.
about. Get them involved with the crypto. Yeah. And a site, trade, it has its own cryptocurrency. Plus it talks about it, like all that stuff. Plus it's mostly kids on there. So I don't really
Yeah.
necessarily care to, hawk my shit on a site that's geared for kids. Call
Yeah.
me whatever, but I just don't want to do it, man. So that's why I've stayed away from D-Line. Not to mention everybody
Mm.
says it sucks. So it sucks. Okay, just leave it. Forget it. Forget what I said. Just take my word on it. It
And then
sucks. But anyway,
there's Logan
cool.
Paul too. He's a weirdo.
Logan. Oh,
Yeah.
Logan's a weirdo. Oh, he's been a weirdo for a while, man, for sure. Uh, yes, I do believe so, says Susan the cat guy. All right, guys, look, we're gonna wrap this one up. We have gone 3 hours with Mr. Rich here. Yeah, is that 3? Let's see. We started at 8 my time, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 3 hours, dude. Can you believe we've done 3 hours?
No.
It's insane, right?
No, it's
I'm
a Mandela effect.
No, don't say that. Don't tell me we shifted during the broadcast. I can't deal with that. Hey, let me do this. We'll bring you on another time, man, and bring you on really soon. Now that I'm back. Look, I was gone for a while, so like on my main channel, so I really didn't broadcast there. I broadcasted on my backup channel, but I kind of laid low because I was like, oh boy, the COVID and stuff. But now that I'm still here, we'll have you come back on again, man, and talk some more, okay? Let me go ahead and give this room a quick shout out, and let's see what we have. We have Chris is at True All 2, and okay, we have Darkslayer 1, Dean Johnson, a DMT. We have Mandela Miles, Mandela 108, Minds Fails to Reflect, Susan the Cat Guy, Toby Schwing. We had a lot of folks in here earlier. I've seen you guys. There's Melanie Brown. There is Dean Johnson. Let's see. The Double Bubble. There's Lothar 900. Mad Pyman. Joanne Dare. The VW123. We also have Vic Victor. Jose Martinez. Who else do we have?
Yeah, when I go live, it doesn't go over too well.
What's that?
Well, if I go live, I had a Q&A live, and it bombed.
Where?
It
on
bombed
UG?
on YouTube.
On YouTube?
Yeah, it just bombed.
Did it?
Yeah.
Why did it bomb? I mean,
I don't know. People weren't really interested, and it lasted about 10 minutes.
Oh.
And
well,
I thought it'd be exciting questions and answers, but it was big bore to them.
Well, we had a lot to kind of catch up on this broadcast. I did have the call center ready to go, but since we ran into 3 hours already, I was like, I don't want to push it. I want to give people more time to call in. So what we'll do is on the next broadcast, we'll definitely, we'll cover maybe an hour and a half, and then we'll leave the second half of the broadcast up for question and answers for you. Okay, people that want to comment about anything or talk. Yeah, let's do that, because you and I, we just haven't really touched base in a while, so we had a lot to kind of go each other's way. So yeah, let's do that, man, and we'll have a great time next time you come on with the call-ins.
That'd be great.
Yeah, dude, and hey, it's like, as always, man, it's always great to have you on and check in on you, make sure you're doing all right. I do appreciate your honesty and everything that you do, and I'm glad to see you, posting some videos back on YouTube, because only due to the convenience. But now that I know you're over here at this other site, I know where to go, so I'm happy about that. And yeah, brother, yeah. All right, well, let me go ahead and close it up, guys. Thank you all for being a part of this broadcast. As always, I'd like to say thank you to Rich and all you guys for being here. Look, we're gonna be back with you guys Monday night. 9 p.m. Central, that's 10 Eastern and 7 Pacific for Mandela Monday. You guys have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you soon. Good night, guys.